want to just be talking and then you don't explain exactly what my retort's for.
Well, no, I was gonna introduce the show, and then I was gonna introduce the topic, and then we were gonna try to like rehash the things that we had already said before I introduced the topic, and go from there.
Okay, so I'm the dick here.
You are sitting next to Mike Breen.
Okay, so I'm Doris Burke, or well, you're saying I'm Dick Jeff. Yeah. Well, I can either be a dick or I can be a bitch. One or the other.
Golly, we can't even get a minute in without a curse.
We'll be okay.
We're trying to work the algorithms here. We want them to think we're kid friendly.
Well, look, all that won't matter in a few months.
Yeah,
I don't even know what this show is called at this point.
I don't either. But how are we doing today, Parlay Pete?
We're doing good. It's draft day. It's draft day. A bunch of young men's lives are going to get changed. Funny enough, true story.
Hey, they say the same thing when they draft the altar boys.
Really?
Yeah.
I had a young bull Sexton. He actually hit me up today because it came up in my memories on Snapchat from 7 years ago when he got drafted. So I had just I put up that I was at Georgia Tech for a swim meet, obviously. But then I also put that up. I said, shout out to everybody who is going to realize a dream come true tonight. It's a powerful moment. It's, the picture I have on Instagram of me, Justice, Jordan, and Colin. And because it's so true. It's such an interesting experience. I'm glad that it was something I got to go to and then know somebody that literally got drafted. But to be there and to kind of feel that energy. Because think about it. It's like literally, in a weird way, like a lottery ticket. Like, it's a lottery raffle through the whole night. Everybody that gets picked that night instantly becomes a millionaire. And $1 million doesn't necessarily take care of your family long term. But certainly those first 15 dudes, anyone that's in the lottery, if you play your cards right, and as long as they just get their guaranteed money on their rookie contract, they probably shouldn't have to work the rest of their lives if they do it the right way. They would never have to work again, and their family can eat off of it. Now, I'm just talking about if they're bums and they don't get a second contract.
But hold on, but their family eating off of it.
If you love your family and they're part of your support system that got you there, I don't see why not. Like you don't have to do it. Like Kobe at some point something fell off with him and his family. Aaron Rodgers. There's plenty of people where there's stories where they don't have to do shit.
I'm not saying you. I say you may help your family out, but I've got to blow some of my money on dumb stuff because I've never had this much money before. I have to have these experiences. So, some of that money that maybe could help them. I'm sorry. And you got to have a good financial advisor. You can't get scammed like so many players do.
Yeah, I think scam likely.
I think that's the one thing that really hurts the generational wealth more than anything. It's not necessarily like the dumb blowing of money, because even when these players blow money on stuff, they can sell a lot of that stuff back to get liquid cash to start a decent life all over again,
For sure.
But like when your financial advisor ropes you into weird, dumb contracts and takes your money legally.
Yeah.
And you're asked out of millions, that's the real thing that can hurt that generational wealth. But shout out to the media, because that opens up a space for these guys to go and make a few $100,000,
bukus of money,
so they can keep the lifestyle going.
Guys like Steve Smith,
guys like Udonis Haslem.
Well, I'm just in general, it opens up the door for everybody. Everybody gets a piece of it.
You talking about Steve Smith Sr.?
No, I'm talking about SA.
Oh,
he's not a player, obviously.
Yeah, well, he was a player, and his career ended, and that's when he became the media mogul and titan that he is today.
Well, Whitlock already dispelled all that. Nobody's sitting around in a park in New York watching some nigga shoot hoops and at the end of February, by the way, which everybody knows March Madness is a thing. So that means that's conference tournament time. NCAA tournament's right there. But
Yeah.
somehow, some way he's shooting. They're like, hey man, it's some nigga that's on the team. He's just sitting in a park. He's not there to do anything else. He's like, hey man, get yourself. You look like you can play, man. How would you feel about coming down to North Carolina A&T tomorrow?
Winston-Salem State.
Yeah. And by the way, here we're gonna come down. They're running a full scrimmage. The way he broke it down was so beautiful. They're running a full scrimmage. Man, we want you to come down. I'm gonna drive you from fucking New York to North Carolina for this because you're that good. Brings them down. There's a scrimmage going on. Now they got tournament time coming up, but they're gonna throw some random dude in. He makes 20-something shots in a row.
Well, no. At first, he's not shooting. He's just, playing it. Coach pulled him to the side. Ain't you a shooter? Shoot the damn ball.
It's probably the craziest fabrication we'll ever hear from somebody that because especially when there's no proof of it, like there's like no proof of it. I think there's one headshot photo of him that appears to be in like a basketball jersey, but like there's just no proof of it. Like there's no proof.
And there's no reason for the lie though. That's my
I mean, we don't even know if Stephen A really balled in high school, period. Because think about it. You didn't get any offers out of high school, like walk on, nothing.
He played like New York Fashion Institute or something. I mean, he tells a story. It's from his book.
I don't want to buy Stephen A's book.
Really?
No, I don't. I mean, and let me tell you, I don't. By the way, for anyone that's here, we don't hate Stephen A. Smith. We don't hate Josh Holsey. If we talk about these individuals, it's not out of hate, especially for Josh Holsey. That's all love. With Steve, we just tell the truth. It's Steve. That's why we can't call him Stephen A. Smith. He's Steve Smith.
Steve Smith of ESPN.
Yeah. And that's okay. Look, he's head honcho, big stick. Not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. Honestly, we aspire. That's why we're doing this podcast. We aspire to get to that point, doing this. I would love to get paid to do that. But
I would love to be able to do the League Fits tunnel walk before the game.
Yeah, and actually wear decent fits. Steve, sometimes them suits suck. Like he has sorry fucking suits.
Oftentimes, it's his tailor, his stylist. They both.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if his tailor's not terrible.
No.
It's kind of baggy at the ankles. I'm not a fan of that look, but
and his jackets run long too.
How tall do you think Stephen A is? I don't think I've ever seen him in person.
I think he's like 6'1", 6'2".
Okay. Really? I don't know. I don't know why he strikes me as a 5'10". Let's
see. Let's ask the good old
Wiki.
I
see how tall Stephen A is, man.
How
tall is Steve Smith?
Is Stephen?
Yeah, because if you say Steve Smith, they're gonna bring up 5'9" receiver for the Carolina Panthers, Steve Smith Sr.
6'1", according to Google.
All right, so he's my height. That's interesting. I don't know. He doesn't look like he's 6'1" on TV, but you know.
Stephen A. Smith though, he's a titan, an industry titan. He's a guy to look up to, and I don't hate Stephen A. Smith, but I don't really talk about him out of love. I do respect who he is and what he's done, but I don't.
Oh, for sure, the accomplishments are undeniable. If people like Shams are breaking news on your contract, you've made it, brother.
Yeah,
you've made it. So I can't hate on that. Like nobody can, and nobody should. Nobody should hate on that.
It's crazy you bring up Shams and breaking news, and that reminds me of Shefty, right?
Yeah.
Shefty, we were probably first introduced to Schefter on Around the Horn, I do believe.
Mm-hmm.
And as an NFL insider, as a personality there, but he's an NFL insider. Denver Ties, ESPN breaks all the biggest stories for ESPN. That reminds me of another guy who was once on Around the Horn. His name's Pablo Torre.
Mm-hmm.
And he's started to break these different stories around sports. And this story he broke recently on his podcast. I would have thought Schefter would have broken that story. I would have thought that First Take would have led off with it because it's the NFL. It's collusion, possible collusion, or collusive acts, should we say? Black quarterbacks being possibly discriminated against. I don't know. Maybe it's just coincidence. But I heard crickets from them, but nothing from Shefty.
Mm-hmm.
I checked out Collins, lineup on his podcast today over at Fox to see if he discussed it. He did not discuss it.
Not a word.
No, I saw a Nightcap though. Nightcap last night. I didn't watch the video, but Darren Waller and TJ Hushmanzada, they were doing the show because Shannon and Ocho are on break.
Okay.
They discussed it. Didn't watch it. That's not a mainstream show, but it is high level independent media.
Right.
Pablo Torre, he's independent media. Through what's that guy's name? Miami.
Dan Le Batard.
Yeah, Dan Le Batard pays him. But yeah, no mainstream.
What's he paying him to do?
Like his podcast and stuff, and
I know, I'm fucking right.
Yeah, but then you got no First Take, no nothing. And it's starting to sound like
that doesn't surprise you though, does it?
Well, no, because it's collusion. You can't be surprised when there's collusion. If you think there's collusion and then you see the collusion, and then there's a story that comes out about the collusion, and some of the people who are in collusion with the colluders aren't talking about it. That's kind of how collusion works.
Yeah.
Like when you and Justice have y'all secret meetings.
Whenever I think of the word collusion, I really, honestly, I think of that because everybody wanted to make it seem like it was something that it really wasn't. There was no colluding going on. There never has been. We don't do that.
We could take a pause from this topic and phone the entire league and say, hey, you're live on AC Lee and Parlay Pete podcast. One of the last episodes. Oh, excuse me. You're live.
Hey now.
Say now. You're live on AC Lee and Parlay Pete podcast. Got a question for you. Do the Hodges brothers collude in the locker room fantasy football league? I'm willing to bet that the answer would be yes. If we put that poll out to the league.
But you know what? Look, when people win, everybody wants to feel like that's what happens. That's why we're having this conversation about the NFL to begin with.
And that's what the NFL is saying.
When people are winning, everybody's it's not, and obviously, I guess, because we have money on the line in this league, more money, more problems, right? Like, I mean, it's not my fault that somehow we've had this league for 10 years.
Yeah.
I think does this make year 10 or year 11?
Year 11.
All right. So 10 years in, and we've won out of the 10 years, 60% of the titles. And I've been in multiple that I've lost. And I think he's lost. He might have lost one too. No, I know he has because he lost to me. But
yeah,
nobody can make a trade perfect enough to make it to where two teams face each other. And there's not like hey man, I really need a wide receiver. You really need a running back. And then we trade a running back for a wide receiver, but then it's not an equal trade. That doesn't make any sense. How does that work? Because then it means it's an equal trade, right? That isn't how these trades work. A lot of times we don't even make deals. I think maybe in the 10-year history, me and Justice have probably made 2 trades. There was one, he snaked me this year because I traded him Jamison Williams for the guy for the Saints. Not Olave, but the other guy. Shaheed, what's his name?
From New Orleans.
Yeah, the dreadhead. He was hurt the same
Uh-huh.
day we made the trade. That dude was hurt, and nobody vetoed the trade. Nobody fucking vetoed the trade. And
Well,
you
I
know,
never check them.
sure. That's a typical Lee answer to me, if I've ever heard one.
I mean, I don't. Hey, but I put the poll out in the locker room. We'll see if they respond. Let's circle back.
Oh,
to
you
it.
put it in the group.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll circle back to that towards the end of the show.
Yeah, so let me see. He asked Chat GPT. I need the highlights, not the high life, because we don't like Miller High Life. When's the last time you've had a Miller High Life?
Whew. I mean, I couldn't tell you exactly, but I would say certainly pre-COVID, no doubt. Like I can give you that type of time frame. I know that since COVID's happened, I haven't had one. Like even to show up, because think about it, you very rarely will you have a kickback at somebody's house and there's 30, 40 plus people and there's cheap beer at this age, and we're not old. For those
It depends on the crowd.
I tell you what, if we're playing beer pong, sure, I guess that it would make sense in that. But even then, that's not the beer I would get for beer pong. Like, if we're gonna go cheap beer, like, oh, we just don't want to pay for shit, but we want to actually not do water pong and then drink beer, then we're probably gonna do Pabst or. I mean, I would rather have Bud Light. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather have those over Miller High Life. Like,
I had a friend. He was a big Miller Lite guy.
I've never been. I've always hated Miller Lite. I don't really like any of those beers. I like Bud Light Limes. Bud Light Limes are good. They are. They're good. Yeah. I can drink a Bud Light Lime today. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I will go buy one.
I'm well aware. I've been to your house before, and there were Bud Light Limes in the refrigerator.
Yeah, I'm an IPA guy. I like to lick bark and then bite into an orange and say, "This tastes good." You know, that's me.
Yeah, see, I'm a man of the people. You know, I still buy Mickey Ultra and Coors Light. You know,
Michelob Ultra is a fine beer to get if we're at a Hawks game and that's the selections. It's a fine beer,
except for an OKC. We'll get to those rookies a little bit later, maybe.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, I forgot. We didn't even talk about that, but yes.
Yeah. My mom actually, the mothership dropped their load over at
Anheuser-Busch.
Yeah. Got quite a selection. She brought some up here, and I was like, "Hey, I don't need that much booze here."
You can ship it down south if you want.
You know, next time I come south, I'll probably have some with me.
Hey, ship it, baby. Because even if I don't drink it, I like to have it, no matter what.
Yeah, no, and that's how I am. I like to just have beer in my house.
Yeah.
But I would also like these right here, these little neutrals, these little vodka seltzer things, right? Because I don't always have like liquor in the house, but well, you know, what if I have some people over and, you know, there are some legs over here? Here's something that they can kind of drink that's like lady appropriate.
Well, more importantly, it's alcohol. Like, hey, if you want lemonade, if you want water, fine, that's fine, of course. But
I probably don't have it.
How about one of these?
Well, seltzer.
What do you think about that? You know, it's to have more options is always better. Versatility. That's really what this is about. Versatility.
Yes. Here we go. Chat GPT. Oh, no. No. Not that case. The quarterback market. Quarterback.
We'll talk about this later, but while I just stall while you're getting this Chat GPT thing, just because I looked at our Instagram stuff, the Knicks and this head coaching, talk about a catastrophic move, and we'll get to it later. But I just needed to say that while you're doing that.
Okay. So, November 2022, the NFL Players Association filed a collusion grievance stemming from how owners reacted after the Browns gave Deshaun Watson a fully guaranteed $230 million 5-year contract. The league's own lawyer, Jeff Pash, then circulated a memo warning teams that the NFLPA accused owners of agreeing before and during the August 9th owners meeting to refuse another fully guaranteed. Okay, who's impacted? The grievance, no. Oh, the grievance focuses on elite quarterbacks seeking fully guaranteed contracts, notably Lamar Jackson. After Watson's deal, Baltimore balked on offering full guarantees and used franchise tag instead. Other big name quarterbacks like Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, and Dak Prescott, who also pursued guaranteed deals but did not receive them. In depositions, owners, including Steve Bisciotti of the Ravens, Arthur Blank of the Falcons, have been deposed. Steve Bisciotti openly said he regretted Watson's precedent-setting deal, and Steve Bisciotti is the GM. Excuse me. He is the owner of the Ravens. Yeah, I'm sorry. Arbitration timeline. The current arbitrator is overseeing the case. Ruling. The arbiter found evidence in the ruling that the arbiter found evidence of NFL collusion on quarterback compensation, but ruled the NFLPA failed to prove actual damages, so no payout was awarded. All right, so that like kind of lets you know what's going on with the lawsuit. Now let's get into kind of what Pablo Torre reported, and then we'll get into our open discussion about collusion in the NFL, because I want to say that if you go back to this podcast years ago, we said that there's collusion going on just because it was just blatantly obvious. But here's what Pablo Torre reported. Pablo Torre has covered the guaranteed contract collusion case in his role, blah, blah, blah. He's highlighted how owners and league execs reacted negatively to Watson's deal and then pushed back internally. Torre emphasized the strategic use of franchise tags like with Lamar Jackson instead of negotiating full guarantees. Though the arbitration details are largely closed door, Pablo Torre used public filings and memos to shed light on the behind-the-scenes reluctance by teams to grant owners guaranteed contracts. And so in the last piece, there's a few more things that go into this. With the Players Association hiring a new executive director, the president of the Players Association losing his career, then shortly after having a role with the Players Association as a non-player, but a nice important role, changing of the constitution to the Players Association. Like there are some conversations between owners about setting precedents for contracts, the Kyler Murray contract, and how that influenced the Justin Herbert contract because the owners were talking about it. How
text messages.
Yeah, Russell Wilson wanted 7 years guaranteed. It ended up not happening, which was
nobody was going to give him that anyway. So, but that's why the dude, the former president of the Players Association, said what he said. He's like, he's a wuss, and he ruined it for everybody because he asked for something that wasn't even realistic to begin with. Like,
you're not playing.
How old was Russell Wilson at the time of that trade? Was he? He wasn't 30 yet.
Yeah,
was he? He might have been 29.
It was damn near 30. Because Russ has
got to be 35 now.
Russ is a few years older than me.
Because he was older coming into the league anyways. So
one of my partners who graduated in 09.
He's 36. He's 36.
He was 30. I knew he was 30.
So that means 2022. Let's knock 4 years off.
32.
Yeah. He wasn't getting a 7-year contract. I don't know what would make him think he was going to get. Because no offense, and Russ was great. He made like 10 Pro Bowls or something, which is insane. He basically made the Pro Bowl every year that he was in Seattle. He won a Super Bowl, never was an MVP, but somehow he thought that he would get a Patrick Mahomes contract that was fully guaranteed. Come on.
Maybe he had Ace Bailey's representation.
And we'll get to that later because we're going to find out probably in the next 30 to 45 minutes where he ends up going. Washington. Is that not what he's trying to do? We'll get to him.
But I think what's more surprising to you? the actual allegations, not the allegations, the findings of the lawsuit that founds that says that the NFL is participating in collusive activities, but there's no evidence of collusion. Okay,
Of direct collusion.
of direct collusion, right?
Does
With that,
collusion, but collusion have to, does, I guess we have to define collusion. Wait, say what you're going to say, and then I'm going to go. My bad.
um, is that more surprising, or the lack of coverage of the collusion, which we could call the cover up?
The,
Which more
the,
surprising to you?
the former, because the lack of coverage, we kind of discussed it a little bit here in the pre-production. At the end of the day, nobody's going to bite the hand that feeds them. And it's a two-way relationship, because they're paying them to have it on their network, but they're reaping the benefits of it. So why would you fight? And I get it. Then, but I tell you what, there's a bigger part about the second part. Then the networks would have to collude against the NFL somehow. Like, and the NFL would never go to USA Network, right, and say, we're going to exclusively stream our games on y'all's channel. They're not going to do that. But like,
but if they do it, it works.
Yes and no.
Seen it with the streaming model.
Yes and no. The real fans, of course, would through and through. Like, we would do it. We would, if we didn't have USA on anything, or because USA's cable, right?
Yeah, we'd buy it if it's.
Yeah, we would get cable again, because we're like, but then I don't know. Then USA would have to have like a app or something where you could do Sunday ticket. Now, but then this gets to what the ESPN.
Don't even get there. Well, let me ask you this one question.
Yeah.
Is it a conflict of interest that the networks with the journalists, I don't care about their entertainment shows, right? Who gives a fuck? But the networks with the journalists, specifically ESPN, is in financial relationships with the leagues that they cover. So therefore, you can't really write you can't tell the true story about it. Like that isn't that a conflict of interest? I mean, because there's not another major sports news platform.
It isn't, because here's the thing. That is bigger news than sports news, as far as I'm concerned. Wouldn't you agree? So CNN can talk about it.
It's anti-American.
But I'm just like, there's no marriage between, like, they're not in bed. So it's like Turner doesn't have any ties to the NFL at all. And so, like, they could do it. And if it's a legit story, which it is, obviously, they could pick it up and get more legs, right? They could cite Pablo Torre, get him to come on to. I know there's no more Larry King. I don't know if Gail King's doing it. I don't know who the fuck does it for CNN anymore.
I think Anderson Cooper, he's still there.
Okay, they could get Anderson Cooper, because the NFL is gay anyways. They let that be known all month. The NFL is gay. The NFL is trans. So what better than for him to go to the gay and the trans, since it is gay and trans? Well, I mean, he's not trans, but he's a part of that community, and have him talk about it, because he knows more about it than anyone. Everybody doesn't necessarily want to hear what Steve has to say about it, right? Because would you really care about Steve's opinion on it? I know I wouldn't. I wouldn't care about his opinion. I want to see Bob Costas talk about it. I want to see Troy Aikman and Joe Buck honestly say their opinions. A former player and a long time play-by-play guy.
Like, I want to hear Shady.
If John Madden were alive, I want to hear what John Madden has to say about this.
Bro, I want to hear what Shady McCoy has to say about it. Even though he's not a quarterback, he's a star player who can speak to how his market may have been repressed, and it seemed like teams were working together when niggas are trying to find certain types of contracts.
So you want to find the people that were affected by this too. I mean,
I want to hear from either smart people who have an interest in the truth, like Florio, right? Florio is not afraid to take on the NFL while still covering the NFL and having NFL relationships. So when Florio is breaking news, and I'm not a big Florio consumer. Pause. That's crazy. But when it comes to stuff that involves the law, I want Florio talking about it because he's a
He
lawyer.
knows it. Yeah, he knows it.
And he can speak to legalities and use proper language because he kept using, and what we listened to earlier was collusive behavior.
Yes.
Like he's going to word it properly. And for me, I better understand what's going on because, you just put it on a player only podcast that's not on a network.
Yeah.
Collusion. But no, don't call it collusion. Call it collusive behavior because it leaves the door open that because it's not proven to be collusion, we can still call it collusion, but not really call it collusion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So everybody understands.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think McAfee's going to talk about it.
But he's more in bed with college. I mean, he doesn't because he don't work for ESPN, but he's a former player too. I guess the thing is that has Pablo Torre talked about anything that anyone talks about on their network in terms of something that he broke, or is this the first of its kind? Because I feel like his show now, there was something I do remember that he brought up.
Bill Belichick.
Has Dan Lebatard talked? Yeah, he did the Bill Belichick stuff.
Lebatard had him on. I haven't listened to it yet, but there's an 8-minute clip from Lebatard's page concerning that, and I meant to get to it before our show actually, and then I started listening to Gills.
But this could be bigger than even just the collusion in the NFL, and just show like, hey, this is why y'all are where y'all are at and not on our network anymore. Not because you wanted to go independent, not because you've done that, you've been there, done that type of ordeal. They could look at both of these guys and say, stay in your place as independent small media reporters. Whether it's true or not, nobody's gonna pick up the story because we is greater than I. Like, you know what I mean? Like they could look at it that way.
But then you could even tie it to corporate America, which then you could tie to politics. And this really could peel back, if we really want to go deep, a little bit of conspiracy, a little bit of tying in what's actually happening in the world today, because this is also happening politically. And just be like, all these people are in bed together to protect their interest and just give us enough crumbs to not die and stay hungry.
But that's exactly why when you asked me which one was more surprising, I said, oh, by far, the former as opposed to the latter. Like, to me, I wasn't surprised that the media didn't pick it up. Like, that doesn't surprise me that much. I think what's surprising about it is the idea that it was able to come out more than anything. Like, that might be the most surprising part because, again, we talked about this with the NFL. This was something we already kind of knew had been happening, whether it's the Kaepernick thing to a degree, because I'm not team Cap. I think Cap fucked himself. Like, I'm not going to say, I don't know if he probably never did get offered anything, but he didn't even want to play in the UFL or whatever. Like, he didn't want to even do. And maybe because he was entitled and he felt like he didn't have to. He signed $100 million. I think he signed $100 million contract. So why should I have to go to why do I have to be Young Wei Koo? Like, he doesn't have to be, right? But like, he didn't do everything he could to show that he really wanted to play. I remember Jason Kidd one time said that he would play for free. This is back when he was with the Nets, and we could fact check it and Google that shit or chat GBT it or whatever. But like, he one time said something like that. So if somebody has that type of passion for the game, they'll do it. But it's the same thing when it comes to this in terms of the collusion. There's a way out of this for the NFL because there's no way that they would leave themselves that exposed because they never do. And no corporation does. As we talked about in pre-production, I won't get into it. I work with corporate people, like directly with their companies, and now I'm dealing with one on a different type of basis too. And it's just like, they're not gonna like budge. Like, they just don't budge. They're not gonna put something out there and let it happen. Now, if they fuck up, they will settle quietly for the most part. But nobody wants reputational harm. And in this type of case, the fact that they've got 3 quarterbacks, I think it was 7 or 8 owners, Roger and other people that are in this room talking about this stuff, and this is real, like, it's legal, this happened. I don't think that they would do anything that will put them in this position to where they're exposed too negatively just because Pablo Torre and Mike Florio talked about it.
I mean, and that's evident in the fact that this hasn't been turned over to the Players Association for them to then disseminate the information to the players. Some of these guys who have signed contracts since then, some of these guys who are involved in some of these contracts could actually hear the truth about it.
Yeah.
And then, some of the manipulation of the actual Players Association, with the executive director, they didn't give the opportunity for proper vetting for the executive director. He was kind of just shuffled in there. And then the committee who screened the candidate said, hey, we screened them already, so they're all good. You interview and pick your favorite one.
Right.
Come on, man. And then I thought the fact that he said that he reached out to Stallworth, a friend, no comment. Foxworth, yeah, I'm sorry. Dominique Foxworth. I said Dante Stallworth, my bad. Yeah, Dominique Foxworth, because
former Falcon, by the way.
He was a Falcon. He couldn't go on record and tell the truth, because he might be in Fight Club too.
Yeah, exactly. What happens in Fight Club stays in Fight Club. But and then for him, because he was I remember before they even brought it up, I'm like, yeah, he was like the head of the players at one point. Makes sense why he's got his cushy media position too. I'm not saying he don't know what he's talking about, but what I'm saying is that, look, it's just like anything else. And that's why I'm not surprised by it. Like, it's like anything else. It's a good old boy system. Anyone that is a part of anything won't do anything to jeopardize their money. Like, everybody cares about their money, because once you don't have it and you're in a position like to where you'll do anything to not, for the most part, as long as you can stand on morals, all this other stuff. But if you can be in a position to where you and your family will never starve again, most people won't compromise that in any type of way. They just won't. Like, especially people with money. People with money can say really what they want in a sense of, oh yeah, I won't do this. Like, I would never do that. Like, I'd never.
Hold on.
Giving up your butthole is one thing,
and that's where I was about to go, because you said.
But that's one thing. That's one thing.
And I was going to ask you, would you grab your ankles?
No, hell no. I would never let a man fuck me to just make sure I was financially secure, because then that means that I don't believe in myself outside of whatever it is I'm doing.
Would you beat off and a man can watch, not in the room?
He's watching from behind a closed door?
Yes, you can't see him, but he can.
It's on video.
Huh?
Yeah, that means I'm a porn star. Yeah, hell yeah, I'll do that, because that would be like if I've never. Niggas don't share sexual encounters, but there have been plenty of niggas that have recorded themselves having sex, and if anyone has seen any types of that, it's damn near the same thing. So nah, that wouldn't bother me. That would not bother me. No.
What if he was in the room, but like you just had your flick and he's not like talking to you. He's not like trying to turn you on at all. He just wants to watch.
I need to know how much money I'm making, because for $100,000,
I'm saying like life-changing money to take care of your family. You know what? Fuck it.
And I'm fucking some chick and he's just watching, and he's a
no. You're just beating off and he's watching.
It's just me.
Yeah, just you beating off. I mean, you got like an
That's
iPad.
So weird. Like,
you got an iPad.
If it's life-changing money and that's all it is, honestly, yeah, I'd do it. Hell yeah, I'd do it.
For $400K, I'd do it.
That's what I'm saying. I would do it if somebody is If that's what it is, as long as he's not, there's no nothing else. Yeah, I'll do that. But I'm not gonna let somebody penetrate me. I'm
Would you,
nah.
would you penetrate somebody who you're not attracted to?
A woman?
I said somebody that you're not attracted to.
Nah. I'm not gay, so I can't. I couldn't fuck a dude and nobody ever found out. Even I'm gonna be honest with you. Even if I got paid $10 million, like seriously, I don't think I could do it. I just because for one, I don't think sexually I just couldn't do it. Like I don't think I could, even if I wanted to. I don't think I could do
Oh,
it. I don't think I could do it. So it's like, but there's that, and then just the idea. I
that
couldn't
what
do
it
that.
sounds like.
I don't know what it sounds like, but like I couldn't do it. No, I couldn't do that. But if it's something like that, I mean that's a weird situation. But
But also,
honestly,
hey,
if I was getting life changing money to do it, hell yeah, I'll be off in front of some old creep. To be honest with you, I'll do it. Like hell, I don't think I could get up for that either. But like
I mean,
I'll certainly try.
you got your iPad and your headphones.
Okay, so it's like again, it's like
a
I'm in
show.
my room beating off the porn,
Yeah.
but he's there. I mean,
Watch.
I clearly know he's there,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, and
I mean,
anyone that
imagine
let me tell you,
imagine him as your dresser, right? He's just there.
disclaimer too, because I know somebody could take this clip the wrong way. No, I'm not a moral seller, but I'm also not rich either. And so if I was rich, and even if I was financially secure, let's say I had $1 million in the bank, I'd still fucking do it because that's
free money.
yeah, that's stupid. It's stupid to not do it. It's just like, yeah, bro, you weirdo. Like, okay, whatever. That's just like a chick that, and not to compare myself to a chick like this, but like at the same time, when like niggas have foot fetishes and they'll pay bitches, excuse my language, like women for fucking feet pictures, why wouldn't they fucking do it? Why wouldn't you do that? If other women wanted to see it, why wouldn't you do it? What difference does it make? They're not touching you, you're not fucking them. They just want to see your toes. I don't give a shit. I don't care. Like,
I haven't asked for a good feet pic in a minute. I don't pay for them.
I've never asked for feet pictures, Lee. I don't know anything about it.
You've never asked for a foot picture in your life?
No, no. I'm not saying if you have that's.
Hey, hold on. ESPN is really cutting the budget. They got, are you watching the draft? Can you see it?
TV's in there.
Okay. You know that prick who's on the Saturday show with Feinbaum with the, the slick back, bearded guy, SEC footballist kind of guy. I don't know his name. Oh, Marty Smith.
I forgot Marty Smith was even still with ESPN because he's like conservative a little.
Yeah, so he's in Newport, Maine right now covering the draft. And we've got Andrea Carter.
Well, of course they have him up there.
Well, but the point being is he should not be covering the NBA draft. Like he should be at home right now just waiting for college football season to start back.
Yeah.
Yeah, ESPN's cord cutting. But I also want to put out there, everybody has a price and everybody has a criteria. And we only speak to our prices and our criteria, but we don't judge you for your price and your criteria as long as it's only affecting adults who understand what they're doing for what, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm not knocking the chicks for taking the casting couch if that's what they want to do, or a dude for taking the casting couch, like old boy from Tyler Perry. I don't knock people for doing that if that's the route they choose to go.
What dude from what are you talking about with that? I don't know who you're talking about.
Tyler Perry got that lawsuit going on out there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he called
himself. You guys talked about that on Village Vets.
Yeah, the big dick top.
New Kung Fu Kenny. I mean, like,
well, I'm telling you, if
New Kung Fu Kenny,
if there's chemistry and interest, why would we not put Tyler Perry and TD Jakes together? I mean, that's a power couple.
Well, for the LBGTQ community, that would be a pay-per-view event because they'd be like, I want to see who's lying and who's telling the truth. And if not, they could be like, man, it was a good match. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know who won. That shit was a draw. You know, it would be just like watching Triple G and fucking Canelo. You know, they're both smashing each other. Well, I couldn't tell you who won. I'm just saying. I think you could look at that a lot of different ways. I guess is all I'm saying.
Hey. Pigs are still pork. Cooper Flag drafted first overall.
Yeah, he was minus 100,000 on Bovada last night. Obviously, it wasn't worth it for me, but I wondered what would it take to make minus 100,000 people. I want you to think about this. You'd have to bet $100 million to win $100,000. Think about that investment.
I was just gonna you got to bet
$100,000 to win $1. I mean to win 100. I'm sorry, but like,
okay. Adam Silver gave him the dap hug.
He's like, you've been waiting on this, huh? Haven't you, big man?
Hey, we're done with collusion in the NFL, aren't we?
Yeah.
All right, man. Yeah, Cooper Flag drafted first overall. We're not going to get into a Cooper Flag deep dive because it's not really important because, you know, it's kind of like the NFL collusion thing. Everybody knows what's going on here. Yeah. Let's get to the NBA champions. You know, we're 46 minutes in and we've pulled the ESPN and not talked about the finals.
I mean, not that it wasn't a forgettable finals because this was actually one of the better ones we've seen. But the thing is that I felt like this, as good as the series was, this was a foregone conclusion. And I feel like that's why it's already so forgettable. The fucking parade looks sorry as fuck because it's in Oklahoma City. And I'm happy for the people of Oklahoma. I really am. But, like, I don't think that this was something that surprised anyone ultimately. Anyone that really followed basketball figured they would win. And the Pacers had a chance to win. They were up 1 at the half. I mean, but like Tyrese Halliburton goes down, tears his ACL. Now he misses the whole
Achilles.
Yeah, I said ACL. Achilles. But at the same time, it's just, you know, this will be one of those finals where it will be looked back fondly 5 years from now because we'll say that was a good NBA finals. But unless Oklahoma becomes some sort of a dynasty, we don't really look at this finals as too important, if that makes any sense. Does it make sense when I say too important? Like,
yeah, it's kind of like Denver's finals, kind of like Milwaukee's finals, you know, kind of like Celtics finals. I mean, kind of like Toronto's finals, even the Lakers bubble finals, you know. It's parity and it's not important until it becomes important. And the way the NBA
enough.
And the way the NBA is moving today is like nothing's important because nothing is just happening. Like nobody's building on anything, and it's just parity. And we've seen with some stuff we'll talk about a little bit later. It's damn near impossible to build a sustainable. It's impossible to build a dynasty because of the salary restrictions and the pay scale. Because the salary restrictions aren't really the problem in the NBA. It's that the pay structure, the contracts haven't adjusted to a salary structure because the NBA, unlike the NFL, lacks a lot of nuanced contracts.
I think there's that. And then I think that the way that when guys come into this league, right, if you're a freshman like Cooper Flag, he's what, 19, 18? He could still be 8. He's 18 still. Yeah. But typically they'll be 19 by the time the season starts. So, all right, I won't use him. Whatever. Somebody that's 19 by the time the season starts. If you're 19 years old, you're on a 4-year deal. You get paid in that 3rd year if you pan out. So you're 22. 22, you get the initial max because there's no super max. It's just a max. You
No,
get that max.
no. There's a rookie supermax too.
Yeah, but you have to be
All
like,
NBA in your first contract.
yeah. And Wemby, for instance, guy that hasn't been healthy, he's in danger of that if he doesn't fucking stay healthy next year. He'll just get a
Jacob,
max, even though he's the next face of the league. That's why LeBron had him at Fanatics. That we're adding that to culture too. Fanatics, that whole fest, the Kobe Bryant talk, all that dumb shit.
I don't have much on it, and I'm not doing that Kobe talk. I'm not doing.
Well, no, we're not going to talk about Kobe. I'm just
No. I'm saying
the
that
festival itself.
I'm not doing that conversation here because it's a pointless conversation for us. We get nothing from having that conversation.
Well, because we know the no. I get it. But
well, no, because like you won't be open to somebody else's.
I am open. I'm always open. Paul,
Sorry, I pressed the wrong button.
Regardless, my point is LeBron, the idea that he has Tom Brady on the stage with him and then brings Wemby, he's the next face, and he's in danger of getting it because of the rules in the NBA. If he doesn't play 60 games, that nigga
J-Dub is gonna get it, and that's why the OKC's not gonna build a dynasty, and then they're gonna max out Chet, who doesn't.
Haven't you seen these guys in their interviews after games? They stand together. He's willing to sacrifice to make sure that Casey Wallace gets more than a 4-year 675. Like, he will make sure that Casey gets a 4-year 90 so that he stays.
Dylan Harper,
they all love each other. And Shea too. Shea obviously will be eligible for the $300 million one. He might take less. Look, we've seen it. Don't act like it don't happen. Jalen Brunson took less money.
No. Shea's not taking less. He just fired his agent.
Oh, well, maybe he will take less, but that way you don't have to pay him any.
No, you don't fire your agent to take less because you're now not really negotiating a deal. You're saying supermax me. But that's the problem with the NBA is that because the max contract exists, every franchise player or guy who scores over 20 points thinks they should be a max player, and you go straight to that set dollar figure, as opposed to where the NFL, you may make a little bit more, a little bit less than somebody, but you have the wiggle room to shave off $1 million here, $2 million
there. Wiggle?
Yeah, to create space for other people. Whereas in the NBA, it seems like their contracts are so much more just max. League minimum, rookie contract. You know what I'm saying? And yes, there are different dollar figures associated with draft select. Like there is a little bit of diversity, but you understand what I'm saying, where the top end players are pretty much making the same shit. And you don't have that $4 to $5 million per year difference like we do in the NFL with our quarterbacks that get you another player that you need.
Would it make sense for the NBA to adopt the MLB standard for contracts? And hear me out. Hold on. Just hear me. The reason I say this is because obviously in baseball, the Dodgers, right? They have the highest payroll. They got Shohei, they have Mookie, they got Freddie. They got a lot of good players. Will Smith's a really good player.
Dylan Harper too to the Spurs.
No surprise there. Yamamoto, they gave him all that money. They're not guaranteed to win. And if anything, now with the NBA in this era, maybe that we're moving on to, having nothing but superstars doesn't that doesn't equate to a championship. That's why Derek White has a gold medal, because you couldn't just necessarily have the best player. That's why Jaylen Brown if Tatum's getting benched, then what's Jaylen Brown doing? He's sitting on the bench too.
That's
But
bullshit.
Derek White's in the game because he fits with playing with superstars. You couldn't just have the best player. That's why Trae Young's not. That's a Nike debate. I get it. It's a Nike thing too. But
no. Derek White being there over Jaylen Brown is just bullshit. That's not a.
I'm with you, but I'm just saying, would he have fit as well?
Yes.
He's not used to being a role player.
Hey, we watched the Redeem Team. Stars were role players.
Yeah, because those stars are different from today's stars.
I don't think they are in that environment. We haven't seen today's stars have to play together. It's different.
Yeah, because the All-Star game is such a joke. We don't get a
Well,
chance to really see it. But like
they play pickup together. When we saw KD, James, and Kyrie play together, there was respectful deference when they played. When KD was in Golden State, he was the best defender of his career because that's what was demanded of him. I think a lot of these players are more flexible than we give them credit for because, like, you're at like they'll niggas will do stuff that they wouldn't normally do when they respect who they're playing with and can say, hey, you know, he's better than me. Yeah, like this, it's not competition when they're in Team USA.
and I feel you. I really do. New Kung Fu Kenny. But I just think that at the end of the day, having a guy like that, that's why it makes so much sense. That's why, again,
You're not gonna. I don't even know how we got here. I don't even know what the hell we're talking about.
no. We got here.
You're not gonna tell me that Derek White.
He's not better than Jaylen Brown.
You're not gonna tell me.
But we're not arguing who's better.
No, you're not gonna tell me he's better for Team USA than other players who have similar skill sets but are better at it. Because Derek White better fit than Trae Young, yes, because of the skill set. But if you give me a Jaylen Brown who can pretty much do everything that Derek White does, but better.
Derek White's a better three-point shooter than him. He's a better defender than him.
Than who? Jaylen Brown?
Yeah, I would take him as a defender over Jaylen Brown, personally.
But if he is, we're splitting hairs. That's not
fair. That's fair too. But like
Jaylen Brown's offense is so much better.
How much? He can only go right. How much better is that? There's no versatility. That's the reason why Derek White's on the team.
No. Derek White's on the team because Derek White is
he doesn't have to shoot the ball 20 times to be effective.
I don't think Jaylen Brown has to shoot the ball 20 times on that team.
He doesn't either. I'm just saying. I'm playing devil's advocate here for that.
I just think you're doing some more of this big media stuff that paints our star players as guys who won't change their games when they're in different situations.
Well, I want Stephen A's spot because I'm tired of watching him. So yes, you goddamn right I am. I want his spot. God damn it. I want to be able to come back to the AEC and wear this t-shirt and running first take, but doing it for I don't know. It could be ESPN, but Fox or somebody, or CNN lets us do a sports special, showing up. Yeah, you goddamn right I am. And so but regardless, I guess what brought us to this conversation was the max contracts and how.
Hold on. Philly's pick is in.
It's Edgecombe. They're not going to take Ace Bailey.
We know they're not.
But it's interesting for them to take him too.
Edgecombe doesn't make sense for them though.
It doesn't, right? Because they've got Maxey and what's his face.
Yeah,
so it's like
let's still draft Ace.
If they take Ace, he's getting traded to whoever, and they're going to move up.
Con Knipple might work there, but
he's short. He's not that tall. He's like 6'5". He's not that tall either.
I'm just saying stylistically.
What is it? 6 man? I really like I forget how to pronounce his name. The dude out of Illinois. I do. Mark my words. I told you this in text.
Yep, they took Edgecombe.
Mark my words. I promise you, if the Thunder do trade up, I promise you that's who they're going after. He like seamlessly fits it too. And then they got the guy that they drafted that got the first guy ever to.
Can we get back to the finals?
Huh? Can
we get back to the finals? Like we did not talk.
Yeah, but we already talked about the final. I mean, look, I'm not surprised OKC won. Great season by them. Honestly, one of the all-time seasons on paper, no doubt. Regardless of what anyone wants to say about what they saw on paper, one of the all-time seasons. He led the league in scoring. He's the first to do it since Shaq to lead the league scoring, Finals MVP. since 2000. So like Shea is he should be considered in that elite company. I mean, he's averaged 30 the last 3 years. They were the number one seed 2 years in a row. He brought a championship to a franchise that never had one. Like Shea, as much as I don't, the eye test doesn't tell me that he's one of the best ever. As long as his career continues on the way it is, even if this is his only championship, like he has cemented himself. Like we can say what we want to say, seriously, but if he retired in 2 years, he would be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like he's a first ballot already. It's crazy to say it like that, but
Hey, hold on. Hey, 1 second. The Bulls are looking to trade Kobe White or Lonzo Ball before pick 12.
Interesting.
Yeah, so
they have their eye on a guard that they really like.
Yes. Unfortunately,
which would be Yep, go ahead.
Trying to stay on the finals because we can get to that when it happens. Unfortunately, Tyrese Halliburton comes out shooting the ball great, talking cash money shit. Call somebody a pussy ass nigga. And then snaps his Achilles. They showed it more times than they had to. It's kind of cringy and scary. It's like, hey, can we not keep watching this? But had the calf strain, knew he had the calf strain. Going in, know the risk of it. I don't even want to have the conversation of did he make the right decision because it's up to him, and I know what I would have done. So I don't care about that.
He made the right choice.
Well, yeah. Like, you would have played, I would have played. Like, it's the fucking finals, man.
He did what and he had already game 6 was the real danger game, we thought at least. Anyways, he went through that game, played okay. He got off to a really good start in game 7, obviously making 3 or 4 threes. And
he was talking that shit.
Yeah. And look,
I was like looking at the TV and I saw him mouth pussy ass nigga. Excuse my language. I'm like, oh yeah, nah, we out of here.
Yeah, he was ready to go. And that's all you can ask for out of a guy like that is to be ready to go for his team. And he did it. And unfortunately, for the most part, based on the way healing works for that type of injury, he's going to miss next year. He's going to miss all of next year. Like he 100% probably does not return next year.
No, and he should. He shouldn't come back. Like he shouldn't come back. Tatum shouldn't come back. Dame shouldn't come back under any circumstances. Get the extra 4 months of rest.
Yeah.
Because now you're going to try to play yourself into late season playoff shape. After no. Coming off an Achilles, no, that's dumb. That's dumb.
Yeah, stupid.
So that's unfortunate. The East is wide open. Honestly, the league is wide open. But I found it odd that on Game 7, before the game, we find out that Kevin Durant gets traded to Houston.
Ironic, right?
In the old league, Commissioner Stern, he didn't allow transactions to happen during the finals. Nothing touched the finals.
Nor should he.
What's wrong with our current commissioner?
Well, Adam Silver Lee, I think that our current commissioner, I'm not going to say what a lot of people would want me to say about him, but what I will say is that, he's got a different way of doing things. They broke it down. The 30 years that David Stern ran the NBA, they were 8 different champions in 30 years. And now there's already been 7 in the, I think, 9 or 10 years that he's been running it. He's all about change, and that's okay.
Hey, do you think Silver and Stern are registered to the same party?
No and yes. No and yes. The reason why I say that is because there really is no difference in them. I think there's more of a public perception.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying when they go cast a ballot, right? Based on the way that they both run the league, they seem to have totally different political ideologies, right?
Yeah, Stern would definitely be more of the
I'm not gonna put anyone in a basket. I'll let
nah,
the
but he would fall more under the conservative approach of things. And
why is Andrea Carter really sitting right here? And I like her. Like I
do
am
you?
I'm more attracted to her than I should be. I can see the flaws in her and still be like she's should not be this attractive to me, but she is.
See, you're a big fan.
Not
You find it that way.
I wouldn't say a big fan.
Okay.
I'm just saying that my level of attraction to her is higher than how I think she looks compared to other women that I'm attracted to.
Okay.
Maybe it's just like the combination, like the way the features that I like that work. Maybe she has like a lot of those. I can't even explain it to you. And I mean, I know she's not even
What would
interested.
you say would be those features, by the way, Lee?
I don't know, man. It's one of those things that I can't really describe. You know how when you just see something.
I'm googling her now. I know how she looks, but like,
Yeah, no, she should not be some. She's not that. She's
hey,
decent.
did you know she's from here?
I forgot.
She is from Flowery Branch. She was born in 1993. So shout out to 93 babies. I'm one of those. She went to Buford High School.
Makes sense.
Maybe that's why you can see like the Georgia chick in her that like went to high school with. I don't know, but I'd bang her if she wanted me to bang her. How about that? I would definitely do it.
I don't think you're her type.
I talk sports. I don't know if I'm her type. I wouldn't know. But
Con Knuckle to Charlotte. Sucks for him.
Who's 5 again? Utah?
Yes.
Okay. So
hey, you know where Miss Carter went to college too, right?
Yeah, the Big T.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm familiar with her game. Not literally, but her credentials. How about that?
You didn't watch her?
No, because I think even when she was playing, I probably wasn't betting. And if she wasn't like a superstar in college, I watched. I've always watched women's basketball. Maya Moore still falls under probably the best. I got to see her play in person once, and you know, she still probably falls under the best women's basketball player I've seen play. But
it appears that she is the top in her relationship, with all due respect.
Maya Moore?
No, Andrea Carter.
Oh, is she gay?
Yeah.
Okay. That's common. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm looking at this picture, it looks like wedding photos, and she's holding her wife up. Like her wife is in her arms and she's holding her, but they're both in dresses. I like that though. I like two femmes.
Yeah. Lesbians.
So is SGA on the trajectory to be a Mount Rushmore type player? That's a joke. No. SGA obviously gets to be the number one player for the OKC Thunder, based on what he's done for the franchise so far.
Yeah, he's done just as much as KD, even though it doesn't matter that KD's a better player than him.
Okay, you answered the question for me. I was going to ask you, but KD's still a better player, right?
Yeah. I don't think anyone that's watched basketball thinks that but this is what I'm saying. This is the thing with SGA. I don't want to dismiss it because I saw it. I did get to see it. I did see him do it. So it's just kind of like, it's not, the eye test doesn't tell me that he's not the best player in the league. Like, would you even agree with this? And let's keep it wheezy. I don't think he's a top 5 player in the NBA. I think he's top 10.
It's hard to say. It's hard not to call him top 5 because of his numbers.
Yeah, because of the paperwork
and his effectiveness. But when I'm watching basketball, there are 5 people, more than 5 people, who I think play basketball at a higher level than he does.
How about this, Lee?
I just think he's in a better situation.
This is what makes these arguments. All right. You have been in control of people, right? And in your life to where you've hired or you've been over people, you construct a project or something.
Yeah. No, I've been in various relationships and have been controlling and manipulative towards those women. Absolutely. I've been over people.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking
that
about
was a joke.
I know, but like work-wise, right? So in these scenarios, if a resume comes to your desk and you see somebody has been at the top of their game, they won the top award individually in their team, whatever work they did, you're going to probably bring that person on. That's who you want because you're like, okay, in this field, this is what they've done. Individually, they were recognized and their team was the best team in what it is that we're trying to get done. You're going to bring them on.
Yeah.
Now, once you get to see them work, you're like, I don't give a fuck as long as it gets done. That's kind of what that equates to. But even in his own draft class, you're like, oh, man, if Luka Doncic was the person that you were hiring, you're like, she's finer. Let's say it's a woman for the job. I'm not calling Luka Doncic fine. What I'm saying is, there's these things that are making you more attracted to this is somebody that just came out of the same college.
But professionally,
that's applying for the same job professionally. And when you watch it, you're like, this looks good.
Professionally, I don't care what a woman looks like.
Me neither. I want the job to get done.
Yeah, I care about what's on her resume.
I agree with you. The money is worth more than the ass that I'm not hitting anyways. So it's like, I agree. But the thing is that when you compare it to this dude, this is so gay. And I don't mean it that way.
I mean, you're struggling right now.
I'm not struggling. I'm trying to equate the conversation. The thing is that on paper, I think he's solid. I think he's solid already. I don't think, again, all I'm asking for is 2 more seasons. He doesn't have to lead the league in scoring or win a title. As long as he plays at the same level he's playing at, he's a Hall of Famer, first ballot, and he could retire in 2 years. This is what I'm saying. He's in that category. He's where Jokic was 2 years ago. And Jokic was actually, he's not in the same because Jokic had multiple MVPs. But when they announced the All NBA 100 team, the expectation is that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's on it.
There we go. Can we land this plane? I've lost you.
I am landing it. All I'm saying is this: he's not better than KD, which is what initially started the conversation. He's not a better player than KD because we saw it. What I'm saying is that on paper, and knowing what we know, nobody that watches the game, we're box score Holsey the whole way.
Okay.
But it's statistics. People, he's going to be looked at. He's revered as the best Thunder ever, no doubt. And he's got 3 other MVPs that play there, really only 2 because Harden didn't win his there. Mm-hmm. He's a better player for the Thunder than both of them, than Russ and Katie. It is what it is because they played together and they didn't do it. So he's looked at more highly than them and should be. And Jalen Williams falls
to the Jazz. Ace Bailey to the Jazz.
Okay, so the Jazz did take him.
Yeah.
But that makes sense. They were slotting this guard from Oklahoma there. And I'm like, either that or but you know what? This might be Danny playing that game of New Jersey, Washington, whatever the other New Orleans.
Maybe a trade.
Come get him. Yeah, basically, get the nigga then.
And also, they probably won't be able to get a guy that talented. Well, then again, they got Will Hardy, so they may be back in the lottery again. So, but back to your Shai Gilgeous piece. So, With this 2018 redraft, you don't think he should go first overall? You know what? Let me read off.
No,
Here's the 2018 redraft, and it's just the top 10. We got Shea 1, Luca 2, Brunson 3, Jaren Jackson 4, Trey Young 5, Michael Porter Jr. 6, Mikal Bridges 7, Anthony Simons 8, Miles Bridges 9, Dante DiVincenzo 10.
the paperwork says Shea, no doubt. I don't think it's close. The
Okay.
paperwork. So I wouldn't argue it from paperwork, but from
Okay.
the vantage point of what I've seen, I guess you have to ask yourself the question of if Luka Doncic played on the Thunder, would they have won this year? My answer is kind of yeah, because neither of them are big difference makers defensively. So now we're just talking offensive game, and although they play different styles, their styles are slightly different. Like there's differences in the style of offensive play. They both score a lot of points. They both can get to the free throw line. Luka Doncic shoots a lot of free throws. People don't even talk about that shit. He shoots a lot of free throws.
But he plays differently.
He does. You know, that's more of a locker room fit in a weird way. Like I feel like that would be more locker roomish. But like
with Luka though, you see Luka getting fouled. And don't get me wrong, he baits fouls, but you can also watch him play and go, "Oh, they're hacking him," and they don't.
But I don't even care about the baiting. Like people are like free throw merchant. I don't even care about that, bro. That's a part of the game. If he I'm not, like I can't be mad at that. If I'm in a fight with somebody and we're using fists and we're on the beach and there's sand and I can throw that shit in his face and that's completely legal. Some might see it as dirty, but these are the elements around me. If we weren't fighting on sand, I wouldn't have the opportunity to throw it. So why wouldn't I use it if I can?
Dog, I'm telling you as somebody.
It doesn't make me a bitch because I did it. It means that I want to win the fight. That's what it means.
As a man who plays pickup and who plays men's league, I play different basketball in pickup than I do in men's league.
Okay.
Bro, in men's league, you're trying to get fouled sometimes. Pickup, you're never trying to get fouled because okay, it's ball up top, not 2 free throws.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of enough about the finals because we don't really care about them. But the Celtics, fire sale?
We'll see tonight, I guess. I mean, I'm assuming now that the top picks, that doesn't mean a trade can't still happen with the team that's drafted somebody already, but it kind of looks that way. But they've kept their outside of Tatum, their next 2 best players. They only got rid of the older, certainly one of them more injury-plagued players, and they got below the apron. So they kind of, unless they get enticed with a deal, it makes a lot of sense that they still stand pat with Simons, White, Brown. I don't know if Al Horford's coming back, but
you missed that Simon. Maybe not, but you missed that Simons is an expiring too. I think that's very
it made. But this is what I'm saying. But that's why if they made the trades, it would make sense as long as the deals they were getting back are expiring. Because you start talking about 2026, you're looking at a Tatum fully healthy because he won't have to necessarily play in March or whenever he would be healthy.
He should not.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. He'd be fully healthy and have a full off season of healthy getting back into it, rhythm ball. And then if he's got that summer, if Boston's got all that money, I don't know who the free agent class is next year. You can sign a bunch of people. You are probably bad, and you might have extra picks still in tow. Like you can build the team to your liking for him because he is your franchise player, regardless of Brown winning MVP in the East Finals and the NBA Finals. Like he's the better player. He's the All NBA player. He's the guy that makes the All NBA team every year, first team. Like,
can we fire Joe Mazzulla?
Nah, he doesn't get fired after this year. I think
no. I'm just saying,
they could win 40 games and
they could win 45.
No, I'm saying like if they win 40 and they're like the 7 or 8, they bounce in the first round. I think people are underestimating how good they can still be.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. They could win 45, 47 games, depending on just, how things fall. But my point about firing Joe Mazzulla, because, when we're talking about top five and how you don't put Shea in your top five, and thinking about different players if they played like on that team.
That's lazy, though, Lee.
What?
Because I know what you're about to say. That's lazy.
What was I about to say?
You were going to say it sets up the idea of somebody that's got the paperwork that says this because he's won a lot of games. He's got a championship. I think he might have. Did he win Coach of the Year?
Who?
Joe.
No, I don't think so.
Whether he did, whether
No,
he did or didn't, it's
the point
lazy
that I
to
was
fire him. Is all I'm saying.
No. The point that I was going to make about the different coach is similar to what New York did, but like planned out much better. Of the way that you coach this team, your style of play does not get the best out of our team. Like, I think the Celtics could play better basketball. And, when you talk about different champions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every champion's not created equally. There are some championship teams that would get their ass kicked by teams that got put out in the conference finals. It's just each year is different, and it's all about your matchups, right?
Yeah.
But when I think about the Celtics being a better version of a championship team, I think there's a style of basketball that they could play that would make them better. Like Jason Tatum should be 30 every night. Not 26, not 27. Jason Tatum should be 30. Because what does Shea do better than Jason Tatum besides his shot selection?
But this gets to the point. The Celtics were a more talented team.
No, but I got you. But I'm just saying that individual players, just individual players.
I'm with you individually, but I'm just saying. But the circumstances make the makeup of that. Like,
yes, but the point being is the way that the Celtics play basketball, the way that they shoot all the threes. It doesn't like score. Clock timing doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like,
but that's a lot of guys that like, and that's the props to Sam Presti. That's such a young team. Like, none of them niggas have a fucking defined role in terms of like in the league. Everybody on that Celtics team, aside from Derek White, because he's the person that proved himself the most to me, coming from San Antonio. I'm just saying, but Porzingis was an all-star. Jaylen Brown was an all-star beside Tatum and was there before him. Drew Holiday was an all-star. Al Horford was an all-star. These guys were all all-stars.
But you're not addressing anything that I'm talking about. I am saying the style of basketball that the team plays. The way the Celtics play is not about these guys being all-stars, former all-stars. The niggas shoot a bunch of hold on.
Threes.
They shoot a bunch of fucking dumbass threes. And like Jason Tatum doesn't shoot mid-range shots. He doesn't just work the defense. He has the skill set to do it, but they just shoot a lot of threes. So when I'm saying getting rid of Joe Mazzulla, which is probably not even Joe Mazzulla's formula, it's probably Brad Stevens. But when I'm talking about these different players, it's saying that not just the player themselves, but the situation and the way the team chooses to play. Fuck the personnel. I don't give a fuck about the personnel.
Okay.
If Jason Tatum played the way that he came into the league playing before he was, I shoot best from this spot off of, you know what I mean? Before all the analytics came into it, he was a solid 3-level scorer that could be a point forward. You know what I mean?
I agree with you.
Celtics shoot threes. We're now saying, and it's getting to your SGA argument about him not being top 5. Jason Tatum is better at basketball than SGA, but because of the style of play that their teams use, you don't see it.
So I'm with you. Okay, I see what you're saying. Like, I really do. I agree with you completely. But I feel like, are you saying that Dagnall, aside from the talent, like OKC is talented. Obviously, they won. They won six. They won the most games this year. But like, aside from that, you're saying that even his coaching style allows Shea to average. Let's see, he averaged like 33 this year, and Tatum probably was at about 26, 27. So 6 more points. But it doesn't. Does it
No,
matter if it works? Like, does it? Does that
no.
even matter? Like, does it matter if it works?
My argument is that the Celtics would be a better team if they took some of the shots that OKC is allowed to take.
Right, because of the system.
Yes. I'm not saying Dagnall is a better coach than Missoula because I also understand these systems that these teams run. They don't always come from the coach.
But Dagnall is a better coach than Missoula.
Yeah, he definitely is. But
we know he is.
But that's not the point that I'm making. I'm saying that like Dagnall's style is a better style of basketball. Fuck who your team is. You know what I mean?
Can you please keep talking? I just have to take a piss.
Yeah, you go piss away. You know, I love the fact that OKC won, not because I actually liked watching their team, because I don't, but because they play basketball differently than so many other teams in the league. And hopefully it shows the league that, you can have diversity in how you approach the game, and you don't always have to be a copycat league. Because what makes the copycat league work, the copycatting only works when you have the copycat personnel. Who gives a damn if you have the copycat scheme and you don't have the copycat personnel? You're going to get different results. So two finals teams playing a little bit differently than other teams. Indy with their pace and their full court defense and that naggy stuff. Also OKC with their hacking, but their mid-range shots, the shots at the basket, the threes, and not just being a heavy three-point shooting team like the Boston Celtics. I think it's great for the NBA because hopefully more teams will see that there's more than one way to win. And just because a particular team is winning a certain way right now, we should not just pivot our franchise to go in that direction. We should find the direction that works for us, bring in personnel who support that, or we take the personnel that we have and we build a team and we build our scheme around what brings out the best of our personnel until we can get the right personnel to fit the particular roles that we're looking for. I don't think Boston does that. I think Boston, kind of like these NBA contracts, is one size fits all. And it's, hey, you're on the court. We want shooters shoot threes. And cool, you can shoot threes, and that works when you're kicking ass and making threes. But the point of the game is to win. And it's to get the most points every night, not get the most points that you can possibly get over the course of the season.
Correct.
Like, you look at fantasy, a nigga can have a great team, a good team, have a lot of points.
What if they don't score in the fucking final weeks? They'll lose.
Or you have bad weeks against bad teams. You know what I mean? Like, I did it one year. I was one of the top teams in scoring points, but I lost. I had bad weeks the wrong week. So by having bad weeks the wrong week, your record sucks because you didn't get enough points that day. And I think and I understand the law of averages works out over an NBA season, but then to parlay that into to playoff basketball when you need to play different ways and not play the law of averages because every game is different. That's why I disagree with Boston's style of play, because there's way more variance when you're taking more difficult shots. I'm sorry. A 14-footer is easier than a three-pointer, even if the reward of the three-pointer is better.
One more point. Yeah. And I agree with you holistically on your whole approach to that. I really, really do. I don't know why I sound like someone's at my door. But to bring it back to the fantasy thing, and we're not about to talk fantasy because we're talking Boston Celtics, but I just wanted to break this down. It's not about because I'm trying to break it down to fantasy wise.
But why are we bringing anything back to fantasy?
Because we love football.
Yeah, but we're watching the NBA draft. Jeremiah Fears just got drafted 7 overall to the Pelicans, which
Well, we missed a couple of guys who went 5 and 6. Who did Washington take? Like,
I forgot.
hold on, I'm bringing it up.
Oh, the kid from Texas, I think.
Interesting. Yeah, that's what it says. And
Yeah, because
8.5.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So Jeremiah Fears. Hold on. Let's do this. Jeremiah Fears and Jordan Poole, because we didn't talk about Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole is now a Pelican.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Jordan Poole, Jeremiah Fears, Zion, Trey Murphy. What's my man's name from Alabama?
Jeremiah Fears, they cleared the way for him because they got rid of McCollum. So now he gets to be the true point. Because he can handle the ball. I don't remember him being a very good scorer, but he's a pretty good point guard. Just from the Texas games I watched. Like, he can handle the ball. But now, I'll say this much. And just because we're done with the NBA Finals, it is what it is. Because we were just talking about Shea's legacy.
Yeah.
But, so there was an article I read, because the Hawks still have the 13th pick. Obviously, they traded for Porzingis. We haven't really got into that. But, like, Hawks traded for Kristaps Porzingis. They essentially flipped fucking DeAndre Hunter. They traded.
No. Can we stay on this trade so we can get to the Hawks trade? Like, I'm trying to get us to the
Which
Hawks
trade?
We're talking about the Pelicans right now because they traded CJ McCollum for Jordan Poole.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. All right,
yeah, I want to stay on this team, and then we can go to the Hawks trade. Yeah. We want to finish this one.
They traded that, and it sets up this draft pick. I think the Wizards maybe want to be somewhat competitive. That's not a team that's, to me, strikes fear in anyone, even if they make the play-in with a healthy Chris Middleton, a healthy CJ McCollum, a healthy Marcus Smart. They're all three veterans that could be pieces on teams today that do want to make a championship push by Valentine's Day, by All-Star break, right? Like, that makes a ton of sense. A lot of their contracts are expiring, so they will have that option. They're going to have a ton of money that opens up. They're going to have over $100 million in cap. They're in Washington, D.C. I don't know. I like D.C. I mean, we've hung out in D.C., obviously. One of the things we said was that the women really weren't looking, but I know you weren't looking at the time, but I was, and I was making those comments to you, and like, you know, and they smoked bush weed.
You know what? The part of DC that we spent our time, there was a lot of mid in the atmosphere.
We were at a gay pride parade. Well, we weren't at. Let me disclaim that we weren't at a gay pride parade, but we did walk through one to get to our Michelin star restaurant.
Got to put that Michelin star out there. Yeah, it was Pride weekend, but I don't think that's why there was so much mid out there. I just think, for one, we listened to Dale about where to go after dinner, because dinner, we didn't care who was at dinner. We went to a Michelin star restaurant, so like you're there for the food.
Yeah,
fuck whoever else is there. We're there for the food, and it was great, by the way.
Mr. Turner missed the whole fucking experience.
Well, yeah, he got caught in that parade traffic. Traffic. But yeah, I just think because we were not at the right places to see the right people is why there was so much mid there. Although I was not looking at the mid, didn't see the mid. I mean, I saw the mid, but I wasn't engaging with any of that mid out there.
Yeah. You were doing, you were there to be a member of the art. No, yes, this was Boink's bachelor. No,
this is Gamble's bachelor.
It was. Gamble. We were in Tampa for Boink's. All right. Yeah, we were all there to support.
Yeah, we played paintball. We ate great food. We told good stories. Some of them true, some of them not.
I keep forgetting not only that we played paintball, but that, like, Because it was it was Gamble's bachelor party. So it's like, I felt like we did more for his, even though we were in Tampa, I felt like we did more in DC in a weird way.
We went
because the highlight of Tampa was with all of us was the basketball game, us playing. Like that was kind of because I feel like that had been talked about for a long time, and then we got windy conditions.
But also in Tampa, we got too fucking drunk Saturday. Like Saturday, we got too drunk.
Yeah.
And then that turned into a lazy Sunday that turned into us getting really drunk late Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I think we were drunker in Tampa, which then and we didn't have like a fun activity. I mean, we had basketball, but we didn't have like paintball. But like, I don't know, man. I black out those weekends in my life, man.
The basketball,
I try to act
like I said, that was important though, because that's why you bought a ball, but you drove.
I did drive.
You drove because we were the last two in the house. If you remember, we woke up, everybody was gone. I missed my flight. I bought a flight on Delta because I was like, I needed to get home like ASAP, and I couldn't because Tampa obviously isn't a American Airlines hub. Like my route to get home, I was like, man, I'm not gonna get home till like 11, and we didn't wake up like super late. It was like 11 o'clock, but it was late. That was late. And was it Labor Day?
No, MLK Day.
Okay, I remember it was definitely a holiday, but like I was like, man, I got to get home regardless. And man, I bit the bullet. It was like one way from Tampa on MLK Day to Atlanta, of course, of all places, on MLK Day. I remember that shit being like almost $400, and I was just like, God. But I was so hungover, and I was like, man, I gotta get the fuck out of here. And I remember we were cleaning up because your car was used for the reservation for the Airbnb, and I remember we were cleaning up, and it was like there was still some liquor. I'm pretty sure you probably took it with you. And just us getting up, and it was just like, God, we gotta get out of here. Because I knew that, and then that was the other part. That's why I knew it was like 11, because that was like the check. Like we had to get out too, just in case the owners were back or they had cameras. I don't know, but like, because that was the night before was when we jumped in the pool. Well, I didn't jump in the pool. Y'all did. I have video of that still.
Yeah, I made $100. Hey, can you send me that video, please?
Yeah. Does that MLK Day 2022?
2023. Because it was right before Lo came home from the hospital.
Okay. Hold on.
Born in 2022.
So I just got January of 23. I have it though.
Yeah, nah, that was one of the worst drives I ever made. And as somebody who may speed a little bit, it was probably one of the most difficult drives because I was hungover as shit and knew that if I got pulled over, it was going to be bad news bears. And it's like, okay, you got to drive the speed limit. You got to drive the speed limit. You got to drive the speed limit because you weren't irresponsible this morning. You just got super drunk last night, but you've been drunk all weekend.
I have a
picture.
No, but that's nothing. But look, this is us at whatever club we went to that night.
Yeah, I can barely see that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Here, I got the tab too. Our tab at Burns.
How much was that tab?
Well, if you remember, I put it on my card. The tab was $1942.50, and I think that included the tip. And then I think I left. I'm looking at what bills I have under here. I think I left the extra 30 because that guy took care of us. That was good service.
Oh no, we had great service.
Yeah. Yeah, it was $1942.50. I'm looking at it right now. I also have here. I can send you all. I'll send you all this. Here, I'm about to send you this. No, I'm about to just send it all to you. I have the video of that too, so I'm gonna just send you everything. Because actually, actually, this is the other part of this. We didn't really do too many video. We never do though. You know what I mean? Like
No,
for what?
we don't take pictures. We don't record. We just hang out because we actually like each other.
But,
And we don't hang out for
and
the
it's not about Instagram for us.
No, it's about hanging out with our friends.
And it's not that for anyone listening to this that posts their friends on Instagram whenever there's anything. I promise you, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, keep doing it. That's why we're on, because we can see it. But like at the same time, I don't know. That's just not the way our friendship is, and that doesn't mean that we're not as good as friends because of it. That's could be the furthest thing from the truth. We talk almost every day, Lee, if not every day, and so like. In one form or another, we contact each other every day, and so like I don't think
Julian Turner just responded in the group text to my question. He said, in reference to if the Hodges colluded in the league, Julian Turner says naturally and without punitive repercussions.
Without punitive he's a dick. I'm gonna leave that at that. He's a dick. We don't do anything wrong. We never have and never will. That's you guys can't be mad that we win the league. I mean, that's not for one, Justice before last year, he had won 2 in a row. It's not like he hadn't really won either before that. Now he's tied. I'm the person that was winning early. And typically I'm always in it. Be mad at me. You can't be mad at him. Don't be mad at him. He ain't do nothing. He didn't do anything. I'm all about winning games. And
I jumped in the pool in like regular clothes, didn't I?
You both did, if I'm not mistaken. Here, I didn't even rewatch the video, but you got the text, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I can't, but I don't want to watch it because it might play on here.
Here, hold on. I'm about to.
Can we like turn that down?
Wait. No, you should play it. Play it. I don't.
Oh no! I think
here. I'll play out the start because it's just me talking.
No, it doesn't. Let's just not play this.
He doesn't do it.
Oh yeah. You're right. Actually, I forgot we had guests. But I'm just saying, I started off by saying, I bet the fuck he doesn't do it. And Boyk's like acting like he's going to do it. So I'm like, he doesn't do it. And I forgot. Did I bet the $100 that y'all wouldn't do it?
Nah, Julian bet it.
Okay.
It was all stripper money too.
Yeah, because we went to the strip club that Friday, the first day.
We went Friday and Saturday. We went back Saturday.
We went both days?
Yeah, we went back Friday and Saturday. Well, we went Friday just on some bullshit, me, you, and Boink, because it was just us 3. Remember?
Okay, yeah, because we got there. We got the wings at the spot.
Yeah,
then
we went to
their duck wings. They were good. They were good as fuck. Yeah.
And then we just ended up going to the.
You got on swimming trunks, or either you got on some. No, you're definitely in swimming attire.
Okay.
Boink did go in.
Boink did jump in
all his clothes. Yeah. But that was the bet. The bet was more of he's not gonna do. And granted, it's cold outside. Well, there it's like 60 something, but like it wasn't.
Cold. The pool was cold.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's 60-degree weather. It's still cold, and it was like exposed. Right. This wasn't an indoor pool. So. But yeah, I'm looking at it. You had changed. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm looking at Boink, and Boink. Let's see. Let me rate this dive. He was definitely head first. I'm impressed by this.
You say he was definitely head first, and I was impressed.
He was. He was head first. He did what he was supposed to do. But looking at this,
Kristaps is a hawk. Boston, it's got under the second apron. We get it. We know what they're doing.
And what were the Hawks going to be able to do in free agency to improve the team? But this gets back to. I know. Just
tell me how you feel about it first. Like before you say,
I feel good. I feel great about it. But this is why I feel great about it. This was the biggest. This is what I was about to say. I'm glad you had said it again. They essentially traded DeAndre Hunter for they traded DeAndre Hunter in the 20-something pick in this draft for Kristaps Porzingis and Karis LeVert because Terrence Mann and Niang were in the trade, but they're gone now. Mm-hmm. But I know that Karis LeVert's contract's, it's expired. So he's a free agent technically. But if they re-sign him to a reasonable deal, which I think they will, because he played well and he would just be a good second option / heater off the bench to come in with the stars. He's a vet. He's a swing man. Makes a lot of sense to bring him back. They signed him to a reasonable deal. You traded DeAndre Hunter for Kristaps Porzingis. You traded DeAndre Hunter 20-something pick in this draft for Karis LeVert and Kristaps Porzingis. I like the move. And Kristaps is on an expiring deal. So you don't have to bring him back. And the last time he was on an expiring deal, he balled out with Washington. That's what happened.
Yeah, so I like it because it gives the Hawks, a 19-9 guy who shot 42% from three. It gives them a lot of lineup variations. So we have a solid 7 to 8 who may start on different days depending on who we're playing against. Quinn can get creative, and also we're providing a lot of protections for Trey defensively.
And you've got the coach. That was the biggest thing. You bringing up Quinn. We've got the coach. Like, that isn't an issue.
And then you got Jalen Johnson coming back, who should be an all-star. So you're talking about like Trey and Jalen Johnson, 2 all-star level players. Kristaps Porzingis, who plays at a below all-star but really good player level. And this is a team that could be a 4 seed, depending on injury, could be a 3 seed, may make another move, could be a 5 seed, but could make a playoff run and get to the Eastern Conference Finals. And as we saw the last time the Hawks got to the Eastern Conference Finals, believe it or not, before Trae Young rolls his ankle, they have a chance against the team who ended up winning the championship,
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
and they could have gotten hot enough.
Let me finish now. But I like the Hawks making a win now move that also gives them flexibility at the end of the year. Because if we want to blow it up, we can. But according to Jeff Teague, we got something cooking. He said something on the morning show. He got some inside scoop, but he wouldn't give it out on the show today.
Yeah, I think that
Chloe Kitts dates this guy who just got drafted to the Raptors.
Mm-mm.
The kid from South Carolina. Yeah, he's Chloe Kitts dates him.
So he's a bucket.
I mean, he's a basketball player.
Well, if he's is he a bucket?
I don't know. I don't watch a lot of college basketball, to be honest with you.
Okay. I just was curious if he was a bucket or not.
So how do you feel about the Suns adding more shooting guard depth to their team?
Well, who do they draft?
They traded Kevin Durant for Dillon Brooks and Jalen Green.
Oh, I thought they had made their pick already.
No, Houston's on the clock right now, though, with that pick they got from Phoenix.
No, I mean, well, Phoenix is who's picking.
No,
even if it says Houston.
No, Houston is picking.
Yeah, but it's Phoenix's pick.
Oh, that's right. You're right. I'm tripping.
Yeah, that's what I meant when you said adding more shooting guard depth. I'm like, did they draft the nigga out of Illinois?
No. They brought in.
Yeah, just Jalen Green. I mean, it doesn't make a difference. That's the type of team, again, that's going to be – the over-under is going to be set at 29.5. Can they get to 30? That's going to be the question with the team like that. I think –
Oh, hold on. I'm sorry to cut you off. And it's a total subject change, and we can come back to it. Stephen A. Smith said of Jeremiah Fears, he's the second coming of Kyrie Irving.
Okay.
I want to say that's you can't say that. Like, you can't say that.
But that is what he said.
Have you ever seen anybody dribble a ball as well as Kyrie Irving?
I know everybody likes to talk about AI in a sense of
AI didn't have handles like that, bro. He just had a crossover and he was fast.
I'm with you. I really am. Like, I feel where you're coming from. But, And that who
Bro,
we'll
tell
get
me, tell me somebody you've seen beat a ball better than Kyrie.
you kung fu kitty. You knew that as soon as you said beat a ball.
Yeah, I had to. But like,
If you had said beat balls, it might have been a little worse, but
I'm not even speaking about like necessarily effectiveness and all of that, because Allen Iverson was very effective with a lesser bag. But have we seen anybody dribble like Kyrie Irving?
no.
And
In short, no.
and can the way he can finish at the rim, left hand, right hand. I mean, he can float with his left. He can shoot a midi with his left if he wants to. He doesn't very often. You know what I mean? Like, to call somebody the second coming of Kyrie Irving, man, I struggle with that one.
That's a deep that's a deep dissertation into everything that is talked about right now. Like
Collusion.
for him to be able to look at something and that's what he comes to, it should tell everybody a lot. But
Back to the heart.
nah, there's nobody that you can compare to that either.
No, like, because Kyrie is arguably the most skilled basketball player ever. Fuck NBA. Like, just skill, his ability to do the most things at a high level.
Yeah.
You just don't compare people to that. And like, when you do, he better be a number one pick like Kyrie. He better be consensus. Like when LeBron was getting the MJ, the Kobe, the T-Mac, all of the different comparisons straight out of high school.
Yeah.
He better be number one.
Right. You better be able to live up to it. But the idea would be that nobody will ever get to live up to these expectations anyways. LeBron James is really the only player to give him his flowers. I know you think that give my flowers to Matt Ryan, Kanye West, or Kobe Bryant, but like
that's
LeBron James,
good pick by Phoenix, by the way.
Who they take?
They took the big fella out of Duke. I'm not gonna try to say his name. Come on,
The African dude.
Yeah.
Him.
Yeah.
Good call. I mean, it fits a need. Like I don't feel comfortable with Nick Richards, or they got rid of they traded for Nick Richards for Nurkic. So like I'm okay with that. Like
I like it too.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. They needed a big. And so that makes a ton of sense. But I don't know, man. I think
does Drew play a game for Portland?
Yeah, absolutely. They traded for him to have him.
Do you think Jalen Green plays a game for Phoenix?
Yes. Because if he's not traded tonight, what are we doing? Unless they're getting another player.
What are your thoughts on Phoenix in the direction that they're going and Matt Ishbia, new owner syndrome?
They should blow it up. I told my buddy this. I have a buddy that's a big Phoenix Suns fan.
Okay.
And I told him, I said, man, y'all should blow it up. Like I told him, I said, literally, they should go the OKC route in a sense of just blow it up. Like, get as much as you can right now for Book, because you can get a lot for Book. Now, I guess the question always, huh?
Where do you think he should go?
Book, if they were to trade him?
Yeah.
I think fucking Detroit would be a great move. You could, and he's from Michigan. Like
he's a Mississippi nigga.
And they'd be willing to give you get Ivy, you get probably Thompson would have to go. Probably be smart.
You don't make.
Well, no, you got to match salaries too. Or you don't have to now that they got rid of KD.
Toby Harris.
Yeah, Tobias Harris.
I like the idea that I heard of Brad Beal being bought out and going there.
Yeah, but that's a buyout scenario.
You think Brad Beal's gonna play for Phoenix again?
Yeah, I do. I do because you brought this up yourself.
All right,
At the
hey,
end of,
don't bring up
you
my Brad.
did. You
Don't bring
did.
up my Brad
I'll
Bill
let you
solution.
speak. I'll
I'll,
let you speak for
I'll
yourself.
say I'll
But
bring up the Brad Bill solution.
yeah, I'll let you speak for yourself. But like at the end of the day, you said it. I mean, I'm sorry, I have to cite you. Like at the end of the day, they can play hardball if they want because it's. And but I said this to you on Sunday when the trade happened. I was like, well, they could just Kirk Cousins it. Like that's a part of the thing. They could just Kirk Cousins it. Kirk Cousins, just like Bradley Beal, has a no trade clause in his contract. He dictates where he gets to go. And if they can't get what they want in return, they can just devalue him more and then let him sit a year and cut him and then see how that shit makes out. Like, you know what I mean? And for the Falcons, it's different because of the NFL, which we talked about contracts earlier in the NFL with collusion. So it's a little different, but like at the same time, nigga, we're paying you. If I don't want you to be here, but I want you to be here, you will be here. Like it's pretty simple. If I was running a business and I was cutting a nigga a 45, $50 million check and I don't feel like he's useful to operations, but I have the bank to do it. Nigga, you will show up every day on time or I will find you. Like we will use everything in the contract against you. You're gonna do what I tell you to do because
So
you don't want to do what we want to do. And that's
let
the issue.
let me paint this picture for you, right? Brad Beal has a no trade clause. Shout out to Brad Beal for getting it. I respect him for demanding it, and you know what? Bad on Washington for giving it to him, right? Because they could have still
Bad
resigned.
on Phoenix for trading for it.
I'm not even mad at Phoenix for trading for him because of what they were trying to do. The move didn't work out. It was a bad basketball fit from the jump. But when teams take chances to try to win championships, I prefer that over what the Utah Jazz were doing or what the
I'm with
Hornets.
you.
Yeah, like take chances, make mistakes, get messy. Shout out to Miss Fred.
Julian Turner is the only person that wants to see his team either be great or
Bad.
terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the only person that feels that way.
But if I'm Matt Ishbia, right? Because I'm not letting my GM, I'm not letting my head coach. No. This is me and Brad in a room.
Kicking the shit.
No, we're not kicking the shit. We're having a conversation. And we leave our phones outside when we come into this room, okay? There's no phones in here. We're treating this like it's like an intelligence room where we have like classified materials here, type of stuff that Trump and Biden take home with them.
Okay.
We're going to be in this room. And we're going to say this, look. You're going to be on this roster. You're going to be expected to show up. You're going to expect it to be a leader. And you're expected to earn your playing time. Maybe you start, maybe you don't. We've got some new young guys in we're trying to develop who want to be here. And the guys who want to be here are going to get the opportunities to play. So here's what we do. You either work with us in finding a trade partner before the season starts, or you earn your spot on this. You earn your spot in this rotation. And wherever that spot is, you're expected to do what's required of you. And we're not sending you home. We're not sending you home. If you don't play, I don't want to hear anything because you will be fined. You will be fined. You'll be fined for conduct detrimental to the team because what you're doing right now is detrimental to our team. You are not bought into what we're doing to try to win a championship, and you're not bought into helping us get you out of here for us to try to win a championship.
You want to know who you sound like?
Julian
You sound
Turner?
like no, you sound like Life, the movie. You sound like You Will Be Shot. You remember? He's like, if you don't do this, he's like, if you so much as stick your Johnson over the gun line, you will be shot. He made the rules very clear.
Yeah.
And that's why people try to compare leagues to slaves trades and stuff. And I'm not going to get into that. But my point is, You will do what we tell you to do because financially you fucking have to.
And guess what? The economic structure that we live in, very similar to slavery. You just get paid more money and you got more rights, and your job, you don't live there. You get to go home depending on where you work and who you work for, right?
Yeah.
But the idea is you fit into these lanes that we give you in order to receive money from us on a regular basis.
Yes.
If you do not fit into these lines, the only difference between slavery is, you might could die for not doing this stuff, and there's no penalty towards the person.
To being dead. Your family doesn't even get to capitalize on that. Yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, yes, we are bound to the people who pay us as long as we want their money. You are bound to people who you want something from as long as you want it. You have to meet their stuff. Like, hey, guess what? Before I got separated, I had to do certain stuff to try to make my wife happy to make the marriage work. That's what you got to do. Even if you don't want to do it, if these are the terms of the agreement, you have to meet
oblige
in order to keep the agreement going. And I'm happy you brought up the slavery piece, because I fucking hate these comparisons to something so extreme. I know something so extreme when it is commonplace for so much of what we do. What you got?
Real quick, just because we're talking draft and the draft, I don't have my TV on. So this was a guy I was gonna ask you about if you heard about him, but he just got drafted by Portland. I thought the Hawks would be perfect.
Oh, you talking about the Cedric Coward kid?
Cedric Coward. Yeah. Have you looked at his? It's not just the analytics.
He's nice. False.
Well, the crazy thing is that, all right, timeout. I'll make it really quick. But like from a betting standpoint, so he played at Washington State. He only played in 6 games.
Mm-hmm.
I got this, so I watched the games because it's the beginning of college basketball. Washington State's been pretty bad at basketball. They were favored against some good teams, and I didn't know why. So I was like, I'll take the points on the other team. Some of those cases I covered. But the thing is, I got to watch it, and I was like, oh, this nigga can ball. They got somebody I've never heard of that fucking can ball. And he's played 5 years of college basketball.
He's a grown man, so he's ready to come into the league and do whatever.
His analytics speak to his game, and I thought that maybe for the Hawks, he would be good. The Hawks are 2 picks away. The kid from Illinois, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He'd be a nice pickup instead. If now that they can't get him, he would have been really nice though. The Coward kid, he sounds like somebody that can be a game changer potentially that nobody talks about.
Hey, the Suns traded for Mark Williams. The Hornets traded Mark Williams for the Suns' 29th pick. And
so who did the Suns take?
Mark Williams.
That's who they took?
The Suns traded, they traded their 29th overall pick and a 2029 first for Mark Williams.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear what you said they traded. I thought, all right, so they got him instead of the Lakers, which was supposed to have been for Dalton Knecht.
Yeah.
So Phoenix is adding a big that can score because he can, for whatever reason, he can score.
Hold on. Portland's trading Cedric Coward to Memphis.
All right, well, there we go. He replaces what's-his-face. So that makes a ton of sense, though. So now, even if so everybody sees whatever I was just talking about. Because that makes sense. He can be the starting. I know they got Jalen Wells, who was on the first team, all rookie, and I think he's a guard too. But this dude can, the analytics, the paperwork said all this. But I also remember him just from betting on college basketball early in the season and wondering why Washington State was favored the way that they were. So that's how I found out about him. He only played in 6 games this year. So he was just like Kyrie and
Junior.
Darius Garland. Darius Garland only played like 4 games at Vanderbilt. Like, I mean, so.
Did Michael Porter Jr. play at Missouri?
He played 1 game.
Still went long.
I bet on the 1 game he played it. So I remember he played in 1 game.
Hey, carry us through anything else NBA. I'm about to go take a whiz, and then we can hop into culture.
Okay. Well, NBA wise, there's so much to be said about what's going on tonight, and I highlighted it before me and Lee got on. I've been privy and lucky enough to have gone to an NBA draft once before in Brooklyn. For those that are new to the show, I have a buddy of mine that I've known since I was 7 or 8, Colin Sexton. He currently plays for the Utah Jazz, but the night that he got drafted, he was the 8th pick to the Cleveland Cavaliers. This was when LeBron left to go to the Lakers, and he had actually tweeted on TV. It's so funny. Like, LeBron, let's run it back, because they had just got out of the finals. But I've been privy and lucky enough to be able to be a part of an experience like that. And certainly, obviously, knowing a player, not just going to the draft, but it's a beautiful thing when you really think about it. It's a beautiful thing. I think a lot of people underestimate the idea of what a young man's hard work can do for them. They did something right. Like, you can't discredit them not doing something right. They did something right. They stuck to something early, and they beat odds. And I think that the biggest thing that I take away from tonight is that, for the most part, anyone that's drafted in that first 14, 15, 16, really you could say the whole first round, everybody gets to take care of their families, themselves, and everybody else. It's a beautiful thing to witness, especially when you know somebody personally that's done it. Colin is not somebody that I talk to on the daily. Certainly, I speak to him every year. For the most part, I typically try to go and see him play, whether in Atlanta or on the road or wherever. But I've known him since he was such a younger guy, and that's the way that all that stuff works out. And it's just a beautiful thing that happens on draft night. You know, somebody's life.
Are you hitting one of your hot topics?
No. I was just simply saying how it's a beautiful thing what's happening tonight. All these guys come from different walks of life. The odds are against you to make it to the NBA, because that's literally what everybody says to you. It was said to us too. We didn't make it because we're a part of that statistic of the people that don't do it. Like, but it's a beautiful thing to see. It's a beautiful thing to see guys that make it to the league. And I was just simply saying that even for me, I don't talk to Colin daily. I talk to him every year. I see him. He works out of the gym. I see him, and just more importantly, like even today, literally, he messaged me today. But like the thing is that like it's just a beautiful thing to see overall. But firsthand experience and being able to see somebody whose life changed from it, and to what was now is looking like kind of a legendary draft, if we look at it that way. A lot of good players got selected that night. But it's a beautiful thing to see, and that's what makes the NBA draft the NBA draft. That's why it's on ABC, ESPN, ESPN2. They've got all these different coverages, because just like the NFL draft, and maybe even more so for the NBA, these guys are realizing a dream that in the history of the league, you don't see. Like, there are so many dudes that are good enough to play in the NBA that don't even make the NBA. So
it's the shortest draft. But real quick, shout out, you're talking about Colin. Shout out to Colin and Jordan. Randomly met them this weekend at a basketball tournament, and just speaking to who they are and their character. Super, super nice guys, super friendly. I was able to, just chop it up with them as a guy who they have heard of, but don't even fucking know. And they weren't assholes or weird. And shout out to them. And shout out to Jordan, who actually gave me some feedback on the show. And man, it feels good to go outside sometimes and run into people who who like listen to you talk and care about what you have to say. It's humbling. It's humbling.
Yeah,
The Dream are down by 10 against the Dallas Wings right now. Bro, we could.
Are they playing?
Yeah. We got Angel Gray and Tabitha Turner on the call. I think we could take their jobs.
I didn't get in on this action. So if you notice, I've been sitting here a little bit just checking this because I've got they're like live. They're like live stuff. So I just want to because what there's two games. Are you sure they're playing right now?
I mean, it's on some TV network right now, unless it's a Peachtree Sports Network, unless it's a replay.
Yeah, I don't think that this is live.
Yeah, it's a replay. This is from last night. Let me get back to the draft.
Well, no, you're fine. What it is I'm just looking at. There's
I
two games on tonight. It's like they're not playing.
I have my eyes on it, but we got a trade right now with Atlanta.
So we traded back, obviously, to who? And
we got the 22nd pick. I'm not seeing anything yet on the social.
No, we traded the 22nd pick for Porzingis. He's a part of that.
Oh, okay, bro. Why do they not update this stuff?
I don't know, because it's draft rights and the league year technically doesn't start until like next week. Oh, it's stupid. Yeah.
Dylan Harper.
What does it say we traded?
Dylan Harper's mom is going viral, but like, yeah, but like, Ron Harper's his dad. What do we expect?
Right. He played with Jordan and Kobe and Shaq. Yeah. And he's a Phil guy, but he was also a star in his own right in Cleveland before all that.
Yeah. Like, come on, man. Like, we got some NBA pioneers up on the stage for this pick.
Let's
see, who are we drafting that we're not keeping?
With the first pick in the NBA draft as Adam Silver.
Hey, what in culture are we talking about anyways? I don't really have.
Well, we got a new Cardi album.
Cardi's
let you tell it. That's the potential Super Bowl pick. I mean,
I think that's what they're trying to why are we caring about Bobby
fucking way.
What?
No fucking way.
I think they're trying to set it up though.
Maybe they want to set it up, but no fucking way.
I hope it doesn't happen. I'm not rooting for it to happen. It's just my conspiracy. Because we're dropping the album in September, so that's week 2 of the season. She dropped a little song here, but apparently she has another single in the cut ready to go. So Cardi has an album coming. It's gonna go multi-times platinum because she's put all of her singles on it that have already done numbers.
Cardi.
And she should put them on the album. And I'm looking forward to the album because I like her music, but
I tell you what, that first album and only album was good in a sense of the singles were pretty hot. When that album came out, true story, first time I went to Japan, and Shibuya is the equivalent of Times Square in Japan. They were blasting I Like It Like That. That shit was blasting. And it hyped up the mood even more. Not because it was an artist I was familiar with and a song I had heard, but the idea that that's blaring they weren't playing the whole song, but I'm talking about Tokyo, like whoever is in control of the visuals and all that. It wasn't the music video, but they were playing it. And so but it just is the idea of, wow, this is what, you know what I mean? Like the rest of the world. Yeah.
I mean, it came out while I was in San Diego. Okay. So the Hawks drafted Derek Queen, who they're going to trade to New Orleans.
Yeah, but what did the Hawks get? Their first round pick back next year?
No idea. It's probably on Twitter or X. But now I heard it a lot when I was overseas too. And the singles work, but honestly, just the album cover to cover is not a bad listen. It's not what I'm going for on a day-to-day. What we got?
That is what they traded it for. So they traded the 13th pick in this draft to New Orleans. Actually, they're going to get the 23rd pick. So
Okay.
they're back in the Danny Wolf. Watch out. If he's still there, I promise you the Hawks are going to take him. Danny, and I told you about this when I watched Michigan, didn't I? When the
Yeah.
tournament, do you remember I was telling you about a center?
We were talking
Even
like
with them getting Porzingis, I promise you they're going to draft Danny Wolf. He is like Jokic a little too. Like, but he could, you watch. All right, you watch. Anyways, they're getting the 23rd pick and they're getting an unprotected 2026 first round pick, most favorable of New Orleans and Milwaukee, which means their pick that they traded for DeJounte Murray or the Bucks, which is honestly a very good trade. Weird. That means that New Orleans must have really coveted fucking Derek Queen. That's a lot, don't you think? 10 spots back in the current draft plus next year between those two. Even if Giannis is there, yeah, they'll probably make the playoffs, but you get the better of the two. Is New Orleans going to make the playoffs in the West? I don't fucking know. I feel like that's a lottery pick.
I mean, they got Derek Queen, they got Jordan Poole, they got Zion, they got Herb Jones, you know.
And they got DeJounte Murray coming off injury. Sure. All right.
Offset dropped a single too. It's pretty good.
It was. I got to listen to it. When you put that up in your notes, you were like, well, I forgot what you said, but basically something along the lines of sets back.
I think I said Offset. I think
he
I
got
said
another one.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. He does. I love the fucking sample.
So from listening to the songs, right? I think Offset just had the better song, period. Now Cardi's song is going to be number one. It's going to get all of this play and stuff. But what are your thoughts on women when they decide to be back outside and flaunt it?
I support my queens. I think that they should be able to do what they want to do. As somebody that has a child with somebody that I think that they felt like maybe that's what's going on with themselves right now, I 100% support it. Because the thing is that I'm not really worried about, it's not about me personally, but in general, I don't think anyone should be worried about a chick that is going back outside. Go ahead, like, have fun with that. Like, you know, do you, I guess, is the biggest thing, as long as you're happy. Because whenever that type of stuff's happening, especially when you're in your 30s, it's even more so for women, I think. I'm not a woman, so I don't know exactly how they feel. But
all right, be careful now. Be careful.
No, I'm telling the truth. I think that, you know, it's not a red flag. It's nothing like that. But it's just more along the lines of, well, so how was it? Was it great? You know, not to be the guy that's in the room watching me jerk off to pay me, but like, was it worth it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, how's outside treating you?
As a man, does it feel good to be back outside when you get those opportunities?
No, because it's the same as in a relationship, as far as I'm concerned. Like, it doesn't. Yes, you don't. You have the freedom of not knowing that, like, I have to make up a lie or do something else. But like at the same time, I don't know. It never changed from that perspective. Now you're just more free. You don't have to lie to multiple people. That's the difference. Like, in reality, if you're not married, you don't have to lie to multiple people. Like,
in a relationship, you shouldn't have to lie to multiple people.
But
you might lie.
Yes, it's the same. Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah, like in a relationship, you might lie to your girl, but you shouldn't be lying to anybody else if that's how you're moving.
No, the multiple people are the girl you're talking to too, because they might not want to fuck with you if you're in one. So
relationship.
Yeah, they might not. They might not do it. They might not do it. It depends on who they are. Because if they're one of those chicks, that is outside that just got off the relationship, they're like, oh, basically now I've turned into who he was sleeping with. They won't. They might not do that most of the time. Like, I mean, I don't know, but like they might. I don't think that they would do that.
I think they will. I think they enjoy the challenge. That's what I've heard from some of my friends.
The challenge of
getting someone who's already taken.
That always makes men more attractive, though. Like if you walk around with multiple women,
yeah.
And I don't think that that's what's the best way to put it? I don't think that that's like I don't think that that's like a misconception in a sense of if you walk around with multiple women, especially if they're pretty women, like you don't even have to be fucking either of them. But if you've got women around you, it does attract. It's the opposites attract.
Man, I
literally even in that case it does, because no chick wants a nigga that don't get women.
Man, I'll keep it a buck with you. When I used to walk around wearing a wedding ring, I received a lot more positive hellos, let me get to know you, than I do now that I don't wear one.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, he's not that way.
And
but because it's safer, because it's like, oh, he doesn't want me. Or if he does want me, he won't do it one way or another. Or maybe he will. It leaves it up for interpretation from the man's perspective in that case.
Yeah.
It does.
I know. I've had friends who's told me those stories.
Yeah, it leaves it up for interpretation. And I don't like, the thing is, I've never looked at women. I'm trying to think. I have, and I'm okay to do this, especially because little do people know, but I've slept with one married woman once, and I kind of did it. I kind of didn't know that she was married to a degree. Like,
I kind of didn't know to a degree. Nigga, you knew she was married.
Because if you say you're separated, but at the same time, the person is there. Now, this is a Las Vegas story. Justice was with me.
Hold on. Was she on vacation? Or did she live there?
Vacation. She was from Chicago.
That doesn't even count. That doesn't even count.
How does it not count if the nigga was there?
Oh, he was in
Vegas. Now, this was the older white lady.
Hold on. She was in Vegas. They were in Vegas together?
She claimed that he was there. That's what she said.
But they're separated.
Correct.
Oh, no.
Maybe it could have been a pre-planned trip. And I don't know. They had kids together.
I'm telling you, somebody who separated. When you separate, all the other shit, man, you throwing that stuff out, bro. You're not even wanting to go on a trip together, bro.
She was a hot white MILF with some big titties. And anyone that knows me knows exactly what I like. And so, not necessarily hot white MILFs, but everybody knows I like some titties. And it's the most womanly thing on earth is some titties. That's what separates men from women. No homo. There are men that have big asses. So, pause.
But but I don't think tits is the dividing factor. I think
pussy is, obviously. But I'm just saying.
Your words, not mine.
But for what you can see, the first thing you notice on a woman typically, as an adolescent, is some titties.
Because you're in your 30s.
Not anymore, but I'm talking about when I was. Like, that's the first thing you notice on a woman is breasts. Whether they're small, big, medium. It doesn't really matter. You notice titties first, because that is that's why bras are made, right? Like,
all right. Come on. Let's land this boat now. We'll land this shit.
All right. We'll touch down. All I'm saying is this. Even in that type of situation, you've got that stuff going on. When it comes to people going outside or, and think about it, that's a relatively new term overall anyways. I mean, we know what it means. But
going outside's a new term, but the idea of it isn't. Like, you remember the song, I'm single again? Back on
Back on the prowl. Yeah.
the thing is saying I'm back outside or whatever Cardi said.
Yeah. We're doing this again.
Hey,
Again. We're
you're
doing it again.
hey,
Did you see her response video, by the way? Because I guess, did you see Offset put up a picture with somebody?
I did see that. I did not watch her response video because I'm just not that invested.
It was on Twitter. That's how I saw it. Because I clicked it because I didn't know if it was real. It almost looked like an AI photo of the chick. But one sec. I honestly, because I just want to send it to you. Because I think I liked it or sent it to Latana. Let me see. But point being, even in that type of situation, I think that good for the women. Like, they should do what they want to do. I'm all for it. I don't think there's no issues with it. I really don't.
Hey, Skip Bayless apparently wants to get rid of his wife after their hall pass combo. Would you like for me to play it?
Go ahead. Why not? Because then I can send you what I'm looking for.
Okay, here.
This would be like a fantasy of
right. Well, this happened to me twice, but I'm not going to talk about that.
Check your text.
I ended up dating somebody that I used to have their picture on my wall, but I'm not going to go into it.
okay, but you weren't married.
No, I wasn't married at the time.
Okay, well
Oh,
then
but I was single. Oh, then it doesn't
messes
count.
up your hall
Oh,
pass.
okay, forget it.
So you
Okay,
didn't need a hall pass.
I've always loved Al Pacino.
She would sleep with him tonight.
I love Al Pacino.
Okay, I'm going to give you a hall pass on Al Pacino.
It was in the news today. He went and he met the Pope.
Okay.
Tyler, did you
Next,
see
he'll
that?
meet you.
What?
Al, if you're watching,
Al,
you can have
I don't
her
have to have a
I'm
kid.
going to send you what I sent Latana.
free. I'm no charge.
Free, no charge.
I-
I do know where he goes to the heart doctor.
You do in Beverly Hills?
Yes,
You
yes,
saw him there?
yes.
Okay. Well, you should go hang out on that street hoping you'll
I
come
once
back to the
gave him
heart
an
doctor.
eyes.
Yo, look at Skip was getting tight.
Well, of course. He's the one with the allegations out. But what do you think of what I sent you?
I'm trying to open it.
I sent you two. I sent you the initial post, but then I also sent you what I sent to Latana, because we like, I'll message him on Twitter, and it says no BBL smell with this one.
I mean, yes,
I mean, brother, I'm not trying to be funny, and I like Cardi B a lot. Didn't she win our BBL March Madness bracket? Like, it was she was the finalist against because you and Justice decided as the tiebreaker. It was yeah.
It's like a
But
give it to Bernice.
she looks better than Cardi B. If I'm going off of just the look, I think she looks better. So, and Cardi B's pretty, but like, she looks better than Cardi B. So W for the, well, he's north, but W for the Atlanta nigga. As far as
But here's the thing: people will say she don't make as much money as Cardi. She's not as popular.
Who cares? He's rich, so who cares?
But that's the point I was gonna make. When it comes to men and it comes to like stats with a girl, typically her money's not one that matters. Not amongst men. We don't care about that. Like, yeah, if you get you a dope girl who has a bag, that's fly.
Good job. Hey, winner. Good job, bro.
Hey, like that's like extra credit, but the highest score you can get is 100.
Yeah.
You know how sometimes like, hey, 5 bonus questions, but you won't make over 100 on this. That's what it is when you get a baddie with a bag.
Yeah.
The highest score is still 100. Sorry, you can't get a 105.
Yeah.
But you know, I just find it funny that these are actually conversations and that you and I even like dabble in these conversations just for audience engagement, but like we'll try to do it in a respectable way. But we could really give a fuck less about these relationships.
It's such as life. It's just it's one of those things where, I mean, they're famous, so it's brought more into the public. But at the end of the day, even if you want to look at it from a, I won't even say normal perspective, an actual perspective of somebody that's got multiple kids with somebody, we just know because they're both rappers and entertainers and people with money. But like, if you look at it, it still is just, to me, it's like anything else. You know, who's gonna upgrade they've got the money, so that makes it just that much more high profile. But like at the same time, it's no different than anything else. Like Kim and the Kim and Kanye thing. I know I'm bringing up Kanye, but it's just a good comparison. Like Kanye was a billionaire. I guess Kim is as well, but like it's like everybody knew she like immediately stepped out with Pete Davidson, right? Like that was like kind of like the first person everybody saw her with. Now Pete Davidson doesn't have the money that she has. It made him a little bit more popular.
Made him a lot more popular. He started getting national commercials after that.
Yeah, and Kanye was he made the track with Game where he said just so I could beat Pete Davidson's ass or whatever. Like
he didn't say that, but you know.
He did say that. That was on the track with the Game.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking about the other song, City of Dreams, where he's like the song with Alicia Keys and Fabio.
Okay. He said on the song with Game, he's like, God save me from that crash. So he's talking about Through the Wire.
Yeah.
So Pete Davidson's ass.
You're talking about like the not good lyrics of him shooting at Pete. But like when he shot at Pete on City of Dreams, it was actually good, and like the song flowed, and he
didn't need to shoot at him. Period. It's like you're Kanye. I mean, as far as
no, because when it boils down to it, there's not much that Pete that Kanye can buy that he cares about that Pete can't buy, and
get the cribs and shit that he can get. I'm not slurping him off. I'm just saying, there's a big difference. There's a big difference between a $3-5 million home versus a 50.
Yeah, but
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but like what does it matter if I'm cracking your $1 billion queen, which then ups my value, so I get access to all of these different women, and I'm just spending less money and getting this and
well, he's not spending any, you would think.
Well, no, I'm just saying like in general, right? Because you're talking about, oh yeah, you got this $50 million mansion, cool. I got a $2 million apartment like in the city. So like, yeah, your shit might be bigger, it might have more space, but like my shit still fly, and I'm doing all the fly shit you want to do.
Right.
Like that gap in between, and especially with him being and this is not me like taking up for Pete Davidson. It's just like we get to a certain point where like people will say, I got more money than you. Okay. But what are you doing more than me that I can't do that makes you cooler than me other than having more money?
Correct.
Because if it's just more money.
You're 100% right, though.
If it's just more money, I'm winning. Like if I'm cracking the same chicks you cracking, going to the same parties, getting the same love, skipping lines, you know what I mean? Got the fly crib, got the nice cars. What's the difference?
I'm on TV too. Well, the difference is that Pete, it's not from even a man perspective. It's just more of just an overall. He's not Kanye West. That's just the truth, right? Like he's not in his craft a 10th of what Kanye is.
But when you're actually like in the field with people, you're not looking at them that way.
That's
like
true.
Like, let's be honest, bro. Like, you know some women who have access to different type of men. You know that there's certain things that they can do that you can't do, but you ain't like, oh, damn, she done talk to him. I can't fuck with
Correct. You know, you're absolutely right. There's somebody that we have both met that I have cracked that has slept with NBA players. And like the thing is that for me, I don't give a fuck that she slept with an NBA player. I know he got more money than me. But that, if anything, again, you know, this actually gets back to that conversation we had that night at Moe's and Joe's. I don't know if you remember it.
I don't. And not because I was that hammered. It's just I just don't remember the conversation.
We had a conversation. There was a chick. I won't even get into the detail of it, but the point is,
text me the chick's name so I can just remember the conversation.
I didn't even know the chick's name. She was friends with either Zoe or
she was with us.
Correct. I had just I guess I met her that night.
Okay.
It wasn't Ariam. I mean, Ariam had
no. I know. I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
but we talked about something, and it was in relation to that. But we were talking about the idea of somebody getting off on the idea of sleeping with somebody because of the name,
Oh, a
but
lot of
not it
people do
not
that.
being the identity of the person, but the fact that they could flaunt it, not in a sense of like walk around with their penis and it has that person's name on it. It's just more of along the lines of, yeah, I cracked her too, like
Yeah,
type
but
shit. But
a
that's
lot of
basically
people,
what we're talking about.
yeah, a lot of dudes do that weak ass shit. Like they'll only want to crack something because somebody cool cracked it. And it's
But
like,
that was my point. My point was it wasn't about because of who did it. It was just more along the lines of I did it too. It ain't about them. It's about you.
oh,
Like,
so like, oh, so you think that person should be lesser than, or you should get more props because of it? Because I don't.
no, I'm just saying that that's the Pete Davidson argument in this
Well,
all
and
of this.
but that's the point that I was trying to make when you're saying he's like not a tenth of Kanye. I'm like, who
He
cares?
isn't. But
But
that's
it
still
doesn't matter.
you're right. It doesn't matter. That's the
So
point.
like, and me saying that it doesn't matter, I don't know why we're like gonna bring it out other than you just giving Kanye more and
It's
more and
more
more.
slurp, huh?
No, I was gonna say flowers. I wouldn't accuse you of slurping Kanye. I don't think you're that type of guy. I just think you might send him some flowers, and then like the next day send him some more flowers.
I
That's all.
think I think that in that situation that I'm just saying for him, he didn't have to respond. Like his is different. But with the
Nah, bro, but hold
with
on. No, 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 no.
Offset
Hold on,
drops the
hold on. No, no, no.
record and
No,
then
no.
he's got the bitch that look better.
No, but you can't say Kanye doesn't have to respond because Kanye is also an artist trying to sell records, and him responding helps him sell records. Like that's bad
Well,
business.
but it gets back to the rap aspect of it too. Oh, you a bitch. Basically, nigga, like this chick, even though you got kids with her, you slept with her, and a lot of people have slept with her. She got a whole sex tape before you were with her, anyways. You a bitch if you let this not even funny nigga that's on SNL just be hitting your wife in public, like type shit. Like,
But I think that's the problem with male ego. Like you can feel whatever way you feel about whoever she deals with after you. Why that gotta affect your ego if that's who you wanted to be involved with at that time and it made sense? Like again, I don't like get like deep into any of my like marriage stuff, but like it didn't work. But like I'm not gonna sit here and judge how I went into that situation based upon what she chooses to do after the fact. Like, no.
because it
Oh,
doesn't even concern you no more. Like you
Well,
don't.
the point being is I didn't get married to satisfy other people. Like I didn't choose my partner based on what other people think or any clout or respect. It was like, no, I met somebody who I thought was attractive, got to know them, thought they were a cool person, great personality, a lot of alignment. We got to know each other even better, and there was much more chemistry there as you continue to move on. And it's like you're looking for that internal. And as long as you're getting that like internal validation, it doesn't matter what the external is doing. Yeah, the external validation can help you feel better in the short term, but until you are finally happily internal, like external validation can't do that. And I think as people, we have to find how to be better at finding that internal validation because it can be hard. Like shit, you think about what you went through, think about some of the stuff I've been going through. You can be down on yourself sometimes when you get alone and really just
For
be
sure.
like, hold on, man, am I not who I think I am? Because I felt this way about my person, about myself, but I've had all these other things going that led people to believe that I am the person who I say I am. And when I'm no longer doing those things, hold on, am I still that guy? I mean, the answer is yes. But while you're going through it and in certain moments, you may not know. So like the true validity comes into validate it comes internally. So I say all of that to say Kanye can pop all of his shit, or any dude can pop all of his shit. Oh, I had her first, or oh, she had my name in her, she had my C's in her mouth, blah blah blah. Okay. And I like her. And I enjoy what we're doing. And it works for me. And anything that and like all the stuff she did with you didn't violate what it was that she and I are building. Even if it's short term, it doesn't matter. Like what happened with y'all was before me. So
Right.
who cares?
Yeah.
Hey, that nigga from that nigga who skipped his game in Germany, he ain't got drafted yet.
For Illinois?
No. You know the one who skipped his German league championship.
Oh, but how far was he projected to go?
I mean, we're outside of the lottery, and he skipped a game to be at the draft. So the assumption would be that he's a lottery guy. Like, I don't think if you're a fringe first rounder, you skip a game that could fuck up your draft stock to show up at the draft.
So I'm looking at this now. A lot of centers have kind of gone. Do you realize that?
Yeah, I have, but it makes sense because the league's
like
getting bigger.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of the last 7 picks have been centers. So that's interesting.
League's getting bigger. No more small ball.
Hawks will be at 22. They could man, look, and he's sitting there as the best available. I'm telling you, that guy from Illinois, he can play. So, like, if he falls to the Hawks, I tell you what, him, Asa Newell, or Danny Wolf. I like Danny Wolf because that's just when they had 2 first-round picks before the Porzingis trade. I thought Danny Wolf. I'm like, oh man, the Hawks have to get him. And he's 7 feet. They have him listed as a forward. Well, he's 6'11". But man, he can dribble, like he can run a break. He's like
are we gonna have to add this Danny Wolf guy to the list? I mean, it's like the 4th time you've brought him up on this show.
I like him. I'm curious to see where he goes. I mean, because if you watched him play, like this isn't my opinion based on an article. Like this is like what I saw.
I know what you're saying. I'm just saying like the amount of times you've like referenced him like in the show. Him and the guy from Illinois, you've really talked about him a lot. And I know we're not a college basketball draft focused podcast, so I just need to know.
We will pull this clip up in 3 years. And
no, I'm not even
one
doubting
of them is a hit.
I'm not doubting that they're going to be hits. I'm just saying you just continuously bring them up. I mean, you've said more positive things about them than the number 1 overall pick, the number 2, the 3, the 4, the 5. I mean,
I like Cedric Coward. I told you, I was like, now he's an article guy. And I did see him play early because I was betting, but like, he's another guy I really like too. Those are just
Justice has responded.
Here, hold on. Let me get into it.
And we can make this the last time because we're at fucking almost 3 hours.
So Dale said yes. Juice said naturally without punitive. Just seeing this win. The past 2 seasons we've seen gamblers make highly questionable deals with Pierce and JP. We can't collude just off the pure strength of sibling rivalry, which is true, but that gets back. This gets back. I'm going to just say it in the group. This gets back to the point of how can I send him a trade that benefits us both?
Hey, let's wrap up this show because we can't keep this show going with this conversation going.
Yeah.
If it gets legs. Because we're going to be responding.
Yeah, here, let's end the show. He just responded to you. But now he's deleting messages. All right. Lee, salutations, good people. This has been a great show as always.
Hey, it's been a great show, man. I'm sure I'll talk to you before the night's over.
I was about to say, let's see where Danny Wolf goes.
All right, dog.
All right, brother.